Dopey.
Two guys that hate each other.
Just shut your mouth.
I hate them.
Shut up.
Don't be unkind.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh, very nice.
Shut the fuck up.
You're a fine bunch of bullies, aren't you?
Opie. I'm Opie.
I could give a fuck. I'm Jim Norton, and I'm on the radio.
Shut up.
The Opie and Anthony Show. It's all about fun, fun, fun.
I'd love to spit in your face.
I will fucking kill you.
Shut up, stupid.
I'm just a zilch, and I know it.
Who cares? We're trying to do a fucking radio.
I know what we're trying to do. I'm sitting here across from you. I understand that.
The Opie and Anthony Show.
Despicable asshat.
And these dummies that work for us, you guys stink.
Ben looks like a tall baby.
Always laughing in the wrong places. Ben, where's the coffee?
You rock.
Hopefully he's going through a car wash with his mouth open.
And there's Steve.
Steve is a piece of garbage.
And you stink.
You are cordially invited to a robbery rape.
This is family entertainment.
This show is a disaster.
Opie and Anthony Show.
If you have any poo, fling it now.
But enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
You better get your head and your ass wired together, or I will take a giant shit on you. What's that supposed to be? Some kind of sick joke?
He said, I can smell your cunt.
O&A Party Rock!
Talk on and on about how you invented radio. Don't, Fred.
No fucking way, no fucking way, no fucking way, no fucking way.
Hello, fuckface.
Okay, terrific. Okay, terrific. What's up, y'all? Hi. It's the O&A virus spreading across America. Ew, I got some on me. I think we should go right to the phones. One of the head pests, is checking in. His name, Dugout Doug from whackbag.com. Doug, the radio show is yours, sir.
There's a billboard in Orlando with your name on it.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it.
I
haven't seen the picture yet, man.
That's great.
The computer to my left is all screwy, and Eric doesn't have the picture up here yet.
I emailed it to you. It should be in your email. I don't know if you went to it yesterday. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I'm actually my breath was taken away yesterday at about 1 o'clock when I got the email. So we decided to call Jim Phillips yesterday. And
Hold on. Wait before you get to Jim Phillips. You gotta walk everyone through this, man.
Exactly.
We got a lot of new listeners since we attacked this stupid ass Jim Phillips down in O-Town. O-Town claiming we don't have many listeners on XM satellite radio, so the pests took it upon themselves to prove Mr. Phillips wrong by pretty much taking over his show for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that would be 7.
7 days?
7 straight days.
Where he threatened lawsuits and
he was freaking out. He
making
couldn't
all
take
sorts
phone
of
calls.
making all sorts of claims that Eric Logan was just an actor and it wasn't really Eric Logan that calls our show, who of course is the head of programming for XM satellite radio.
No, unfortunately, that is Elo.
And then he cried behind the scenes, like most of these radio guys do, to his boss. And then the bosses got involved with our bosses. And we said, look, we can't tell the pests to stop.
Yeah.
That was our exact quote. We can't tell these guys to stop at this point.
He could have his lawyers tell the XM lawyers not to play his audio, things like that, but it can't stop the pests. They're just fans.
Right. So then Whackbag and the rest of the pests from other message boards and elsewhere, they decided, they weren't going to let this one go. So what did you guys do? You got a collection together?
Apparently, during those 7 days, I saw that as a perfect opportunity for me to whore myself all over your show.
Yeah.
And in one of those calls, a guy named Dirty Haiku had emailed me over the weekend talking about a billboard. And in one of my calls into you guys talking about what we've been doing to Mr. Phillips and cunt, we decided to go ahead and laugh off a few crazy ideas that I thought I had gotten emailed to me, like they wanted to take over the whole server, for the radio station. Some guy wanted to get a billboard in Orlando. Well, enter Chucky, who called yesterday, who apparently thought this was a fantastic idea. Chucky jumps in there. He throws a collection, opens up a PayPal account, throws up a collection thread on Whackbag. They got the grand for the billboard in, I think, 3 or 4 days. Someone designs it. This thing's up in 2 weeks.
That's beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful.
You know, you guys are making marketing look absolutely ridiculous today, right?
Well, of course, I sent an email.
Did you hear how easy that was, Anthony, to get a billboard up?
Oh, I know.
And how cheap it was?
Relatively speaking, sure.
Isn't it amazing that our pests, our listeners, are now doing the marketing for this show?
Yeah, billboard.
Someone in Washington should be very embarrassed today.
I've seen the photo. It's great. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
It's fantastic.
All right, so continue, Doug. I just want to make sure everyone understood what just, transpired there in our conversation.
Yeah, honestly, it really wasn't all that difficult. I wasn't even involved in it. Chucky threw the whole thing together himself. But yesterday when I had emailed the picture to all you guys there, I also copied Eric Logan and threw a little PS on the bottom that, this is what marketing is, just to let you know. And he was the first one to reply back, and he was very impressed with what we had done.
Yeah, Elo gets back to the pests. He enjoys the pests.
Yes.
I'll tell you, though, I got the email yesterday about the billboard and that it was up and that they were going to try to inform Mr. Phillips on his show. And so I tune in online to listen in. And I got to tell you, it is so completely unlistenable. I couldn't hang in there for any length of time. They were discussing his trip on the train, that he had taken the train or something, and that whole that rancid meat nest was just as annoying as ever. What is it, Moira?
I don't know.
At least she's got a sexy name, though. Oh! How do you sit there and go, yeah, I'm going to fuck you, Moira. Moira!
I think we got done with Jim Phillips about 2 weeks ago. It was really great to see how much we can get into a show's head and stay there.
Yeah.
I counted it yesterday. He is still at a 60-second delay.
60 now, huh?
There is Boston Strangler and myself, we were demoing a new type of call to these shows yesterday. It's called the tandem attack.
Yeah.
It's when he called me on three-way and then got on hold. He was going to proceed with a regular call, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And in the background, I just whisper, I want to suck your cock. So they're focusing on his call, hopefully,
right.
While I'm getting the word cock out over the air.
That's brilliant.
Unfortunately, he did mention the word billboard, and they dumped out on the entire call.
Oh. I like the idea, the tandem call. It's a clever ruse.
What's great is Mr. Phillips thought you guys were done with him, and then he has to wake up this morning and see this billboard. What does this billboard say?
Wow.
Oh, way to go, Doug.
I might be able to go from memory. It said, I think, Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, you lose.
Good day,
good
sir.
Day.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. The Opie and Anthony Army commemorating the Pat Battle of O-Town.
It's black with yellow letters, right?
Oh, yeah. Just stands out.
Obnoxious.
And how close is it to the radio station?
I believe it was a few miles away. There's a map on Whackbag showing where the billboard is as far as the station is concerned.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debate on whether or not he's actually ever going to drive by it. Or.
Oh, yeah, he will.
I can tell you right now, my second call to him that got dumped out on, all I had to do was mention the word billboard.
Yeah.
He knows all about it, I'm sure. And I bet you his colleagues are all coming into work laughing at him behind his back.
So there is absolutely no way this guy doesn't know that it's there.
Doug has a lot of haters on instant feedback, by the way.
Why?
I don't know. Whenever Doug starts talking, the haters come in.
That must be my friends from OpieAnthony.net.
I don't know, but there are some haters. They say enough of this loser with a bunch of Z's next to it.
In case you guys didn't know.
That's what's great about this radio show. We have whackbag.com that are fans of the radio show. We have OpieAnthony.net. They are fans of the radio show. But Whackbag and OpieAnthony.net don't get along with each other.
Yes.
How does that work?
It's like Iraq trying to get the Constitution together between the Sunnis and.
Isn't this a common cause, though?
No, it doesn't work.
It's like the Marine Corps and the Army.
There are different factions. Actually, no, it's not even that far. The different factions of the Opie and Anthony fan base, Whackbag is where you're getting all of your pests, apparently, because the other factions like .net or Post Whores even, they hate the idea of pests and the Army. I just found that out recently about a week or so myself.
That is so weird.
That's hysterical.
Oh, here's the billboard. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
That's great.
That is great. Is this picture up on OpieandAnthony.com yet?
I think it might be. Yeah, I believe Steve put it on Foundry, so I don't know if he linked it yesterday.
All right.
On Opie
For the rest of the fans across America, go to OpieandAnthony.com. The listeners got this billboard together on their own. We had nothing to do with this. And the picture's up on OpieandAnthony.com. That's classic. Oh, there's that word again. Classic.
All right.
All right, what are you guys working on next there, Doug?
We're still putting together a lot of things for Secret Mission 1 and 2.
Ooh, very good.
We're developing sleeper cells for the Secret Mission you handed me up in the studio that day.
All right.
We're developing sleeper cells in Philly, D.C., and Boston and New York City. These cells will be activated when we want to do these attacks that you were specifying, the big attacks.
Well, they got secret missions and messing with O-Town and Jim Phillips. That's all cute. That's just the pest practicing for the big war.
Well, basically the billboard and we got something coming for Russ Martin too. You guys should hear within a week or two.
Okay.
It's not a billboard.
He's another douche in Dallas.
It's just something else we're demoing for the larger fish that needs to be fried in a couple months here. So we're testing out the ability to get some of this stuff running and how long it takes to actually get on. Like a billboard takes a couple weeks, and now we know. We're actually doing a 30-second commercial doing Russ Martin's show because he wouldn't put any of us on. So we're going to do a 30-second commercial during his show, just dropping all the clever... little Connor references. We're going to drop them all in about 30 seconds during an ad, just so we get it on his show no matter what.
Hysterical. Guys are out of their minds.
Because the guy had no balls anyway. That's a couple $100 because, it's just one market. So.
Well, next time you guys set up a PayPal account, let us know so we could, throw some money to the cause.
And we also have, as you all know, the secret website. Our friend Sniper, who has developed that website, has also developed a secret website.
Yeah, this goes so many levels deep. I don't even know where it ends anymore. I really don't. I don't even know where to go to join the O&A Army. I don't even want to know. Just in case someone comes to me and says, look, we got to put a stop to this. I want to make sure I don't know nothing.
They're like the mole fans. Like, you get, one level, and then you go down, and there's, another level of creeps.
Yeah.
To the left, there's more of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's some very scary individuals that we associate with here.
Let's see. Doug equals Ambien. Please kill him now.
I'm interested in what Doug has to say.
This guy is really boring. Fuck Doug. He's an ass cunt.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I love the fact that I could generate some kind of emotion in somebody.
Well, you certainly are.
Hey, I love it. I love the attention.
You got some people annoyed at you out there, but you got 4 little tents in front of the pants in this room. We're big fans, Doug.
And that's all that matters.
You're a good boy.
All right, Doug.
Thanks, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for the update. There he goes, Dugout Doug from whackbag.com, the home of pests.
Right.
I guess.
Pests.
And we also like the gang at opieanthony.net, wowfans.com,
cringehumor.net,
postwhores.net,
eatabullet.com,
Church of Opie.
That's just creepy.
What? Churchofopie.org. That guy is a scary individual. How cool is that? The fans now buying billboards for us.
That's very, very cool.
They have bought the first one, and there's another one on the way, I guess.
And you know that there are people, other shows are going to think that we're behind it, but I mean, we try to do honest, nonsense, and we really aren't behind it. It's hilarious, though.
Take it upon themselves.
They get obsessed with a certain thing,
and the cause,
and they go and take it to the limit. So
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. All right, wow, that's how we start today's show.
Yes,
that really cracks me up. And marketing down in Washington should be ashamed of themselves. How hard is it to do something like that once in a while?
How should they feel?
Ashamed?
Oh,
I don't.
They definitely should.
All right.
Wait, that would have been.
I know if I had it all queued up.
There
and
you
ready
go.
To
All I picture is that big stupid hand pointing.
Jimmy goes, how should they feel? And points.
Cartoon hand.
And then I got 100 buttons to choose from. Obviously, it was the shame on you one you wanted.
Yeah.
All right.
How easy would it be to grab a few grand for XM, to grab a few grand and go to some of the big markets and just put up billboards?
It would be real easy.
How easy?
Very.
It would be extremely easy.
Look how easy it was. There's no, month lead time or anything. These guys put this together in no time. And what's the problem?
By the way, the Pest could take to the next level now. I think the media, maybe the websites like allaccess.com, fmqb.com, insideradio.com, rronline.com. You can get all these websites when you listen to the replay. Get a pen ready. I think they would like to know about the billboard you guys bought on your own. And also maybe the local media in Orlando.
Radio trades eat that shit up.
Of course they would.
They look and go, oh, what? The fans have taken it apart. Well, let me write this down.
See, our goal on this show is to have our fans, the pests, do everything for us. Everything.
Right.
When we have a really good show, when we do have a Bill Donahue on the show,
yeah,
or we recap Sex for Sam 3, you guys alert the media for us and let them know what we're doing. Makes it so much easier to do this radio program.
Our goal, put no work into the show. Just have the pests do it.
Just sit down and let it all unfold in front of us.
Yes.
But, yeah, it would be very easy to get some billboards here and there. And I think if we came up with some creative sayings and things that we could put on a billboard, it would be even that much more effective, right? All right, but the picture of the billboard's up on opieandanthony.com. There you have it. Voila.
Jesus. Right under a tree. How lovely.
With the military stencil font that they use.
That is really
That is very good.
Hang that up in the studio somewhere, okay?
The Pat Battle of O-Town. Pat Battle gets on the sign.
Just when I thought the Pat Battle thing was dead. All right.
That's great.
Bravo. I was late for work today because I messed up all my fingers setting mouse traps.
They're back, huh?
They're back.
Ah.
They're back.
Are you leaving garbage out?
No, not at all. That's the weird thing. That's how I discovered the mice to begin with. I'm up to 5.
Oh, my God, dude.
5. I've caught 5 so far. I've caught 4 on my own without even using traps, and now I'm mouse trapping my ass off. Mouse trapping my ass off.
Do you know
that's great.
That's infested.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I have a landlord that doesn't give a shit. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I got to finally buy something in New York City because I'm done.
You're also on the ground floor. That makes it harder, though.
The amount of rent I pay on this joint, it's a nice place, but it's got a mouse problem.
You got spaces under the door or anything?
It's a space between the counter and the refrigerator.
But where are they coming in?
I always see, them climbing up or down that thing. That's it.
Creepy and
I know,
disgusting.
it stinks. But I've already caught 5.
Do you have to put food up on there where
the
mouse has been?
I'm mouse trapping my ass off. That's the new thing. So I fucked up like 3 of my fingers this morning at like 4:45 in the morning. I'm setting mouse traps
in there.
Well, I'll explain. I bought 2 mouse traps, and Friday night I set one with peanut butter. Everyone says peanut butter does the trick.
Sure.
So a little dab of peanut butter on the mouse trap, slide it into a paper bag because you want to make cleanup all nice.
Oh, you put it in a paper bag. Very clever.
A little trick that my brother taught me, and sure enough, BAM!
That's clever.
Woke up Saturday morning to a dead mouse split in half, basically.
Oh.
Snapped its little neck.
Its little mousy neck.
And I just lift up the bag. It's a little shopping bag, and walk out of the apartment, and goodbye. Real easy.
Mm-hmm.
So then I set the second mouse trap. And what day were we up to? Tuesday. So from Saturday until today, It's been 3 days. I'm setting this thing with peanut butter, checking in the bag every morning or later in the day, what have you, and the fucking peanut butter is gone and the mousetrap is not going.
Oh, they're figuring out how to get around it. Wow. That's clever, little guys.
Well, I heard the mouse, and he was saying, hold that bag at a 45-degree angle.
So then, it was so hot out.
Yeah.
Obviously, here in New York, it was up to close to 100 for a few days in a row there. I'm thinking stupid me because my kitchen is kind of separate from the rest of the apartment in a way. There's a door, and so I don't AC that area. I just close the door, so it gets really hot in there. I'm assuming that it's so hot that possibly the peanut butter's melting. Stupid me, because I'm like, why isn't this thing working? And I studied a little further. I'm like, no, this mouse is eating the peanut butter without setting off the mouse trap.
Figured it out.
So this morning I wake up all excited, like, all right, I think I got it figured out. There's going to be a dead mouse in there. Sure enough, not a dead mouse, but the peanut butter's gone again. I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm looking at the thing, and I'm stupid me. I kind of just tap the mouse trap, like, what is wrong? Goes off like it's nothing. With barely tapping it.
Well, you can't put your finger in there.
I wasn't going.
Are you insane?
I wasn't testing the mousetrap like, let me push this down. I just kind of touched it like, what the heck is going on here? And bam, that's all it took. So I'm like, why isn't this, So then I ran out of peanut butter. So now I'm like, this is 4:45 in the morning. You know how you are if you wake up early. 4:45 in the morning, you're like barely awake. So I got the mousetrap on the counter, and I'm now trying to get a little pile of granola around it because I ran out of peanut butter. And I'm carefully, placing the granola around the mousetrap. The thing goes off on its own, snaps my thumb.
How do you fasten granola onto a mousetrap?
No, I'm just piling it around it.
No, you need something that gets a little resistance. Like cheese is good because you can kind of slam it on there and anchor it a little bit.
I see what you're saying.
So that the mouse has to tug. Got to tug at it.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. You could just pick the granola off.
Were you sitting there with no shirt, and the mice probably looking, look, we caught a swimmer.
So I'm trying to get the granola, a little pile of granola around the mousetrap, and the thing goes off again. Nails this fucking thumb, and the granola goes flying all over the kitchen. I pick up the mousetrap 4:45 and slam it against the wall like, you son of a bitch. And I set it a third time, and it went off. That didn't hit my finger. And then I finally got it all set and ready to go, so we'll see what happens.
That is probably one of the most nerve-wracking things you have to do is setting a mousetrap. You freak out as you do it.
Yeah.
It's so fragile, the whole connection thing there. You're like, I just don't fucking click on my fingers.
Yeah, my nerves, to begin with, suck. So all of a sudden, I'm just setting them off. So we'll see if the granola works today. I know it's not. I'm going to have to go get the peanut butter, but I got to get this one.
You need a different type.
They were gone for a while, but now there's, I got one, and there's obviously a little friend. And others have told me, well, if you see one, there's a lot more hanging around.
The best way to get rid of mice, and I've had to do this before, is when you go to sleep, I took peanut butter and cheese and mixed them together, and I piled them on my pillow right by my face. And when I woke up and the mouse was nibbling right by my face, I just looked him in the eyes and went, beat it.
That works, huh?
He scrammed.
Scram, you.
So, and that's why I was a little late today, too, because I was setting these mouse traps for like 15 minutes trying to get them set, and my fingers are killing me.
You got a serious mouse problem.
Well, I got a serious landlord problem.
You got to get out of there,
is what it is. I got to get the hell out of there. It's time.
Yeah, my place is starting to deconstruct itself. I got to get out of there, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, all of a sudden the condensation line on the air conditioning unit started leaking right through the living room ceiling. Yeah, you know what happens. It gets very hot and humid, and if the line is clogged at all, it backs up, and the water leaks into the attic, and in time it comes through the ceiling. So now, in my living room, I have a big spackle tape. You know how they tape the seams of the spackle on the ceiling?
Yeah, yeah.
It came down.
Oh,
so that's
God.
like hanging like a stalagmite in my living room with a towel underneath it. And then I don't know where they're coming from, but moths. Moths. They're flying around like crazy in my house.
They're just fluttering around?
Fluttering. You're trying to watch TV
dropping
and
their little moth duty all over the place.
Flutter.
Dude, you gotta...
Don't say that.
You have to get rid of every single piece of furniture.
I don't mind moth shit.
Moth duty is very toxic, and they're just fluttering around, dropping their moth duty as you're trying to...
Yawn.
Trying to yawn, there's the word.
Stupid moths. They're fluttering all over the place. And I don't know what to do about it. I gotta move. I just gotta throw away the place. Throw it away.
Way to handle things.
I know.
There's a booger on the couch. Get a new one. There's a moth. Find me a new place to live. Holy shit, it's a moth. It's not Mothra.
There's like 10 of them, though, at any given time, just fluttering around the house. No matter how many kill, there's still 10.
Get a little butterfly net.
Oh, run around.
You could be in your tidy whities running around catching little moths. It'll give you something to do during the day.
That's a good idea.
You don't really do anything after the radio show. That could be your little thing you do every day.
Do that.
Jumping around with your butterfly net. Got another one, honey.
Yeah.
Undershorts and work boots.
Let's let them go.
Then you could put them in a book and flatten them out. Maybe,
that's
maybe
it.
make a little display.
Yeah.
Jesus, we're the worst.
And this place is coming apart. And then during the bad rains we had the other day, it started leaking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, one of the seams in the ceiling again leaking.
You do realize that we all, well, Jimmy's the only one so far. We have to start living like we have money,
like real humans.
Yeah. I just don't
get a place.
I just don't get it. We now make money.
I want to get a place. I haven't found one yet. I got to find a place before you can buy it and move in.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of crap out there. God damn, they want you to buy a house. Hey, this one's good. 1955 it was built. What the fuck are you going to do at 1950? I don't care how it's remodeled or redone or anything. It's still 1955. Before you know it, it's good. The ceiling's going to be leaking again. Any skylights that are in there are aftermarket, so those leak. People want, like, outrageous amounts of money for pieces of shit.
Yeah, well, good luck, sir. Good luck.
Then you got to hear about the housing bubble is going to burst and the prices of houses are going to go down. That'll happen right after I sign when I buy. That's it. The prices will plummet.
Don't they go back up after that? I've been hearing that too, and it's like they say something that people say that for years.
Yeah, it goes up and down, up and down. It's like a little roller coaster thing they do.
No one asked me how my place was.
Jimmy, how is your place?
Funny you should ask, Ant. Yeah. I'm a faggot, and I had it painted yesterday. I had my dining room painted, and I had it painted burgundy, and I fucking hate it.
You picked the color.
Yeah.
And now it's on the wall and you hate it.
I'm fucking so depressed today. I just woke up like you incompetent ass.
Did you have the painter paint a little bit and then step back and look?
No.
Yeah, you should do that. You should actually, before all that paint is mixed up, you get a little sample and they put it on the wall.
I did that.
You look and go,
But this person who's been doing it has made so many trips, I felt bad. I kind of figured that was the color I wanted anyway. Like, I kind of knew.
Burgundy for a kitchen?
No, for the dining room. It's a small dining room with like a lot of glass.
Does it
glass
turn
in
out
it.
pink?
No, it's not pinkish. I didn't get to why I got it too dark, so it would have been pink if it was light.
Yeah, so it's real dark in there. You don't like it.
No.
Just go off-white, beige.
Beige is my living room.
Beige.
I don't know what color goes with. It's got a flow.
Burgundy looks faggoty.
It looks purple.
I know.
Eric's got burgundy up on the screen.
Let me see.
My left here,
went with
and it looks
periwinkle.
Faggoty.
No, it's not.
You
that
should have went
Burgundy
with
is like the red up there.
You should have went with redwood.
No, it's
You are a faggot.
I'm not a faggot. I just picked the wrong color. I have a light blue bedroom, which is lovely for a boy. A beige living room, which is fantastic, and I figured this would flow on the Martha Stewart colors are the ones I got.
I will.
Oh,
so
no.
what?
I will never. I will never paint a room. I will never have a room painted.
No. Why not? When you get a place,
it's good enough.
No, you gotta paint.
It's good enough.
What color does that look to you?
Oh, that's blood red.
I know.
That's going to be a pain in the ass to cover up with any other color now.
I'm fucking depressed.
You're going to have to prime the shit out of that.
You won't have to sand it, though, will you?
No, you just have to get an undercoat of, like, gray or something to put over that before you can paint anything on top. The room is going to be smaller. So many coats of paint you're going to put on that.
It's fucking, I'm so annoyed at myself.
So is that why you didn't call me back yesterday?
I never got your message, to be honest with you. You called me. You said you called me. I had an acting class, which I was another thing. I stink.
How'd you do?
Awful.
Really?
Awful.
Were there any good actors in the class?
One guy, this guy, Bill.
De Niro?
Yeah. This guy, Bill, he's like a young, good-looking, broad-shouldered boy.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. Yeah, he's actually very good. He annoys me, but he can really act.
And what did you have to do?
A scene, which was,
With Bill?
No, not Bill. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Bill.
No, it was me. It was like a Mr. Mom type scene, which is revolting, and it's nothing like I'm playing in Louis' show. But you got to, the scene wasn't that badly written where I can blame the material.
You're not learning how to act like a certain character. You're just learning the craft.
Well, it's scene interaction. It's just, it helps to do.
What do you have to do?
I played a guy, Nathan, and they had a reader. A girl read the other guy's part, and that's pretty much the way it is on auditions, and she kind of read it stiff like the way the other guy would.
Right.
And I just stand there, and I don't know how to talk. It's like when you're acting, you're fucking talking, but you're not talking naturally. It's like I'm stiff.
Talk.
And my hands are on my hips. Like, what do I do with my hands when I talk?
And that's the hardest thing. You do it every day, and it comes out very natural how you talk. But the second you try to act, all of a sudden you don't know what to do with your body, and your inflection in your voice gets different.
And I talk like that? I don't know why I talk like that. Like, what are we supposed to be doing?
Oh, my God.
You're shitting me. You do that?
So when I get nervous, do
the corners of your mouth stay really stiff, too?
Wait, yeah. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm so stiff and uncomfortable. When I'm good, I do a nice job, but when I'm awful...
You're just awful.
I'm laughable and terrible, and I was so depressed when I walked, because she's like, this is a scene that I thought you would do really well in.
Oh, she did not.
But she was good, though. She was right. She was right. I mean, she trained Romano. I'm not saying he's the world's greatest actor, but he's good enough, and he's a Meisner actor, and he does a great job on the show, so.
Oh, man.
$40 million a season. Sign me up, lady.
Wow, it's such a hard thing to do and come off natural.
Fucking, I was so aggravated at myself.
It's so great to see, like, when they put sports people in TV shows. They used to do that a lot in the 70s, when you'd have, like, a sports guy go on the Brady Bunch or something, and their acting is just the worst. Hey, how are you kids doing? It's really just bad. But it's a hard thing to do.
George Foreman was better. What was it, like, what Sidney Poitier movie was he in with Cosby? He did a better job than I did yesterday in class.
Oh, that sucks.
I was awful.
Oh, poor little Jimmy.
Oh, I was so disgusted. Just driving to the cellar, I wanted to just bite my face.
What was one of your lines?
I'm not a big fan of the comfies. I had a big problem with the comfies. It was about two
The comfies.
diapers. It was two guys diaper shopping.
Uh-huh.
And I can't play anything like, I'm not...
Why would two guys be diaper shopping?
Just two single dads or whatever. Which, again, revolting conceptually.
What do you play well? Anger, right?
Yeah, but that's easy, man. Anyone can play anger, For Pete's sake,
Oh.
What moron can't do that? It's
Good gravy.
Yeah, get a hold of yourself, Ted.
Yeah.
But to me, that was a little bit... I would have preferred to play this guy kind of like a douche. Because that's, to me, funnier. A douchebag shopping with his friends and doing this quote-unquote motherly or effeminate thing.
Yeah, but you can't always be angry or a douchebag, right?
Absolutely, but
now you're just playing a straight guy.
Yeah.
You go in there with your pal, and you have to deliver your line, and it's, what?
I had a bunch of lines. One of them was, he goes, something about the comfies. He asked me about the diapers, and I'm like, I'm not a big fan of the comfies. I had a problem with the comfies. We started talking about the diapers.
I had a problem with the comfies.
Not a big fan of the comfies. Really? Seinfeld with fucking hydrogen in his mouth? You asshole. I'm not a big fan of the comfies.
Play the comfies.
Oh, I really should be executed.
That's
a red dining room and no acting skills. Fucking ugh.
You'll do fine.
How much primer am I going to need?
A lot.
You've got to cover the whole room.
Yeah.
Of course.
The answer is a lot. Let's rewind a little bit. Mike in Massachusetts. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Anthony, I was just wondering if when you have the mob problem, if you're dancing around naked with the cock between your legs, and you kind of maybe singing, I'm crying over you. That was.
All right. That's very funny. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Pinches his nipples with dirty fingernails. I fuck me hard.
Fuck me. Fuck me. I would fuck me. Hey, Don, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
I own a pest control company. Anthony, you probably have Mediterranean meal moths in your pantry in your kitchen.
No, there's nothing in my pantry. I've looked. I've
Okay,
looked
you've
through
checked.
all of my food products, and I have none of those little things in there.
Are they real small arrow-shaped moths?
What shaped?
Arrow.
Like arrow-shaped,
Shaped
really
like
small?
moths.
Are they big and fluffy?
No, they're not big and fluffy. They're those thin little moths.
Then they're either Mediterranean meal moths or, with all your fancy clothing, they might be case-making clothes moths. So you got to dry clean all your clothes and get rid of the eggs.
They're nesting in your shirt.
That's what it is. Eggs.
They're right there.
A moth
That's
egg
the
white.
feel on you.
You have to either brush it all off by hand or just simply get them dry cleaned, and then you have to lightly fumigate the house to kill all the adults to keep them from reinfesting.
People just have got me completely wrong. The moth thing, it doesn't bother me on a germ level. I'm not like, ew, the germ. They annoy the piss out of you. You're trying to work on the computer, and they're fluttering in front of the light on the screen. That annoys me. I smack them around. I don't care.
How many
fling
are
them
there?
into the wall. Dude, they're all over the place. They're moths. They're everywhere.
What would you do if there was a mouse in your house?
Then I would just probably get a hotel room and
You
leave.
would really
I would
freak,
abandon everything.
I think you would.
Moths.
So they don't really have you wrong.
No, because that's disgusting. It's not a germ thing. Mice will piss and shit on your countertops and where you prepare your food.
Oh,
and stuff,
I found some mouse poop.
Yeah,
on my counter.
That
very
can't
tiny little pellets.
Can't be dealt with.
Microscopic.
Yeah.
It's there though,
and you don't see the piss that was down and dried. Yeesh. Mice are more disgusting than
I think
moths.
people are amazed to find out that you and I are still renting.
I know.
We're just idiots.
I'm looking.
We're just idiots.
Takes a while.
But anyway, getting back to Jimmy, I called up Jimmy because I needed a ruling on something, a celebrity ruling, and you weren't there to help out your pal.
What was the question?
Well, we went to see a movie yesterday, an artsy movie called Grizzly Man.
Oh, 2 seconds. It's helium, not hydrogen, Jimmy. That's what the listeners are saying. I didn't hear what you said.
They're absolutely right.
Seinfeld on hydrogen.
Oh,
get out of the way! Seinfeld's exploded! Oh, this is the worst catastrophe I've ever seen!
And I knew, by the way, that I said it wrong. I didn't know what helium was the right answer. And actually, hydrogen was more appropriate, because that's what I did. I fucking imploded in acting class.
Well, speaking of acting class, Jay's on top of you on this one.
Acting lesson.
Go ahead, Jay.
I think little Jimmy's problem started when he tried to play a straight guy.
Oh.
That's very hurtful, sir. I was a Mr. Mom, for Pete's sake.
But I needed a celebrity ruling. We went and saw Grizzly Man yesterday.
Grizzly Man. That was the bear documentary, right?
Yeah, it's a strange
okay.
movie. I got some opinions on that I'll save for later when other people see the movie. But the guy obviously was a kook, and I'm thinking that he purposely had the grizzly bear eat him.
Stop.
At the end of the movie.
Like he was suicidal, and that's how he...
I think he just started losing his freaking mind.
I'm going to kill you.
And he basically was in the Alaskan wilderness, even though it was like a national park, so how... I don't know. And he was supposedly... He was protecting the bears, but they're already relatively protected.
Of course they are.
In the national forest and what have you. And so he'd go there every summer to kind of film them and study them, and then he'd come back to the States and show his footage to, like, classrooms and stuff. And he started an organization, you know, a typical environmentalist. And after his 13th season, he decides to stay later than he usually does. So the bears that are relatively friendly that he knew were now hibernating, and in their place are the more surly bears.
Surly. That bear is surly.
So the surly bears come in and hang out where the tamer bears would usually be.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these surly bears ends up eating him and his girlfriend.
Good.
I'm not giving anything away. That you go into the movie knowing that.
Was his girlfriend hot?
They wouldn't show the girlfriend. He wouldn't show the girlfriend because his whole thing was that he was out in the wilderness by himself, pretty much living among the bears.
Oh, was he trying to bullshit people?
A little
like
bit.
He was there alone?
Yeah, because they got footage, you know, some of the footage he never showed anyone where, like, she's in the shot and like, oh, no, people are supposed to think I'm alone out here.
Okay.
And he was alone for, you know, many of the summers he did it, but then there was a few occasions where he brought, you know, this chick. And one of the bears ends up eating him and her. And there's actual audio of him being...
Did you hear it?
Eaten alive. No, they won't...
They won't play that on the...
Then what's the use of going to see that? The best part they cut out.
The voiceover guy, the director of the film, you see him with the headphones on listening to the attack, and he's obviously very emotional. And another girlfriend that he had is holding the recorder and pushing stop. And then the guy hands back the tape to the girl and says, "You really should just get rid of this. You should never listen to this."
Put it on the internet.
I guess she's never heard it. And, she should destroy it.
Right, and again, they make a movie and they leave out the most interesting part.
Right.
Which is that asshole being eaten by a bear.
And they pretty much teased it that you might hear the audio. And I'm thinking...
stop.
I'm going in my head, do I want to hear audio of a guy being eaten alive by a bear or not? And my answer was, yes, I do. I did want to hear that.
Ramon.
He was taunting the bear. Your website's hard to navigate.
By the way, on RottenTomatoes.com, love the website. It does a great job as far as reviewing all these movies. A 94% rating. Most reviewers around America loving this movie.
How can they love it when they cut the bear eating
Because
part?
it's a documentary and they look good loving it, just like the Penguin movie.
Well, the guy was nuts. The guy was absolutely nuts. Supposedly he lost out to Woody Harrelson as far as being on Cheers, and that sent him down a road where he started drugging and drinking and all that, and then finally found happiness living among the bears.
Did he take an acting class before Cheers?
I guess he went out to L.A.
He was good at that?
Oh, he went out to L.A. and did a few things.
Hey, why is the bear coming at me?
If the acting doesn't work for Jimmy, he's going to go into the wilderness and live among the raccoons or something.
Not now. They'll just find me asleep somewhere on 15th Street, some tranny eating my guts out, my video camera spilled, my documentary spurled. Cast them in their natural habitat. You got a cigarette, Daddy? Shh.
My opinion on this guy... Like, he was coming back with all this footage, and he was very passionate about what he was doing, and I think when he came back to the States, he even made it on Letterman once, so he was kind of a celebrity. I think people were just like, yeah, whatever. They didn't really give a fuck. And he had all this footage and stuff.
So they got eaten.
And he was getting more and more crazy and into this thing that I really believe that this guy set up his own death by Grizzly.
Says, if I get eaten, people are going to look at my stuff, look at my works.
You sure he's dead?
Oh, yeah, he's dead. Oh, they had the coroner describing a lot of stuff, and it was...
Oh, really? What happened? What did the bear do to him?
Well, he ate him alive because he started on his head.
Just gnawing on his head.
And ripping his scalp apart, and then I guess somehow the coroner could figure out that then the bear gave up on the head, so he was still alive, and then grabbed his side and just started... He was eaten alive, no doubt.
God, he deserves it. What do you think he's thinking?
Bear?
It was a white... The heck was it? A white grizzly or a white? Someone help me out. It must be a white grizzly.
Now, how come the girlfriend got eaten too?
She was there taking a frying pan and slamming it over the bear's head over and over again, trying to save her boyfriend. And he's supposedly heard on this tape, which you don't get to hear, yelling and screaming, "Run, run, save yourself, run, run," but screaming it obviously. And bear ate him and then went and ate her.
I'm so irritated at that fucking director for cutting that out. Why would you cut that out?
Put the whole thing in there.
A guy's making a documentary and he's eating during it, and you cut the audio. Wait, it might have been too gory for kids.
Yeah, I want to compete with the Penguin movie.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
the danger. That's what you get when you lay out there and hang out with fucking bear shit all the time. You're going to get gobbled up sooner or later.
These people that go with these wild animals to document them and actually start feeling like they're part of the animals understand them and they understand the animals. They're so full of shit. They're wild animals that will disembowel you at the drop of a hat.
Someone listen to that clip and see, because that might be worth playing on the air today. Because this is the coroner showing the metal box that they brought the remains back in.
Ooh.
And there was just two big piles. Who cares about Mancow? Jesus. That was yesterday's news. So anyway, I'm thinking that he set up his own death because he stayed out there too long. And this guy knew what he was doing. He was out there 13 years. He knew how to survive among the bears. And he was hinting, like, they have tape of him hours before he died, and he was talking about his own death. You know, you have to be so careful out here or you could be eaten alive and blah, blah, blah. It was, the foreshadowing was a little strange. Anyway, Al Roker interviewing an animal... behaviorist. Listen to this.
Now, we always hear about, and we see video on the news about these bears, a lot of bears coming into people's backyards. You see a bear in your backyard, what do you do?
Well, the first thing you want to do is to avoid confrontation. You don't want to go and tackle them. Grab whatever you have nearby and make as loud noise as possible. And you don't want to climb trees because bear can climb trees and they can absolutely outrun you. So if you need to, back away quietly, but make a lot of noise first to try to get him away from you.
I hate these experts that they have on TV, stating the obvious.
Expert.
Really, make a loud noise and walk away
and
or
walk
run
away.
Really?
Back away.
Most people would walk toward the bear and try to pet them on their cute little head because they have stuffed bears at home.
Isn't that what this guy was doing?
Huh?
Wasn't he walking right up to the bears?
At times, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was very, very cautious. They showed some of that.
The best thing to do is obviously to keep them out of your backyard or your campsite is secure your food.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think they can secure the food in their car. And bears have known to break a car window on different occasions. The other thing is people like to have snacks before they go to sleep in their tent. And the bear smells the crumbs, even the leftover, and they may pour at your tent, which is not a good idea.
Are there any bear experts that don't sound like World War II criminals that they could have interviewed?
When would a bear be most likely to attack? Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday.
This movie's getting such a buzz that the bears are going to become the new sharks. You watch.
Is that it?
It's going to be all about the bears and
bear
how you're not
attacks
safe
in our
from
area.
bears. Exactly.
Well, Jersey has a lot of bears. They're
Right.
trying to get a bear hunt together because bears are showing up in people's pools. So that would be a topical story for this area. Bears. How to protect your children against bears.
The solution is throw a big rope like 20 feet over a branch away from your campsite. Then secure the food and raise it up about 10 feet off the ground so the bear cannot reach it.
Yeah. That's great. So he's hanging out smelling something in the air and he's trying to swat at it with his paws. That's got to be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, basically what you're supposed to do if you go camping, you take all your food, your leftovers, everything, you tie them up in a bag or a knapsack and go way far from your campsite and hang it in a tree.
That's convenient.
So they can't get at it.
So when you're on your way to pick up your food the next morning, you're killed because you bump into the bear who's been standing there all night looking at you.
waiting for the person to come by to get their food.
You know what I do with my food, the leftovers and stuff? I call down, and the room service comes and takes the trays away.
Yeah.
That's the only type of food thing I have to do when I'm out camping.
Just rewinding slightly, you were talking about March of the Penguins and the Penguin movie?
Yes.
Did you see in the paper today that they put up a few penguins in one of the nicest hotels in New York?
Are you shitting me?
Because the Penguins are on a publicity tour. It's in one of the papers today.
This is why we are hated around the world.
Oh, yeah.
This is another example of why we are despised.
You're
on
in a
this
third
planet.
world country, and you happen to get the news of America, and you see this little story.
Of penguin eating caviar in a hotel.
Half of these stupid countries that worship the thing.
Did anyone find that in the paper today?
I saw it.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone would actually cut it out and
in
and think that it would be
hey, you didn't
good
finish
for
your
the radio
celebrity
show.
story, by the way.
I'm going to get back to
Opie,
that.
what happened to it?
We're just covering a million things here, but now we have to stall and find the cute penguin thing for ourselves because no one thought it would make for good radio today. Here it is.
Now.
Penguins invade Gotham City. One of the city's swankiest hotels turned into a cold sheets motel last night for a pair of pint-sized penguins flown in from Florida to promote the documentary The March of the Penguins.
Florida.
The very understudies of the emperor penguins of Antarctica, they are about 1/8 the size of the birds in the documentary, were booked into the Regency Hotel.
The Regency.
That is like the most expensive hotel in New York, right up there.
Pretty expensive.
One of the top 10, I would have to say. Where waiter Henry Barista above provided room service of herring. They then retired for the evening on a double bed of ice.
They get room service.
There are people listening to this program right now that save their money all year to hopefully go to a nice hotel with their loved one or something and take a nice vacation. Penguins are in one of the most expensive hotels in New York as we speak. Later today, the stand-ins will fly through a publicity tour, including doing Live with Regis and Kelly. We better tape that.
We got penguins on. Yeah.
We better tape that today.
What are they going to ask the penguins?
And they're on the early show on CBS. See, this is stuff I hope are...
Were we booked? Did we have penguins booked on this show? Did they cancel?
They just didn't show up.
They didn't show.
They were scared of the questions we were going to ask the Penguins, I'm sure.
The Penguins are very busy. Well, they're very concerned because they're half black. They're concerned what you might say.
Well, I understand that another morning show wants the Penguins, and they can't do both.
Yeah.
So
I invented Penguin Robin.
Little penguins quacking.
So there you have it. Penguins in a hotel in New York City. And they got a cute little picture in the Post. Jesus.
I like the way everybody's like tentatively holding the herring, like to give the little fellas, because he doesn't know if they're going to snip at his little awful Cuban fingers.
A little snack.
All right, so here's how we wrap up the whole first break. So I go see Grizzly Man. And I actually like the film a lot. I'd like to discuss it down the road when more people see it. Anyway, I'm leaving the theater. We're leaving the theater. And there I see Sean Lennon walking into the men's room. I'm like, holy crap. That's a biggie for me. And I actually was debating following him into the men's room, which would have been pretty creepy.
Yeah, that would have been.
So then... So I'm like, wow, that was cool, and then I think nothing of it. And I walk a little further. Waiting for Sean Lennon outside the bathroom is his mommy, Yoko Ono. The place is pretty much, everyone is freaking out, and she's got to be making believe that she doesn't notice the commotion around her. Because everyone's walking out of the theater, like, staring at her like, oh my God, it's Yoko Ono.
Did she have anyone with her or no?
Just some other woman, younger woman, maybe a friend of Sean's, I guess, of Asian or Japanese... what would
descent?
Descent.
Persuasion.
I was going to say persuasion, actually. So, of course, I'm starstruck like anyone else. When I saw Keanu Reeves walking around my neighborhood, I followed him for 3 or 4 blocks.
You see some fucking good ones, dude.
I know, and you're in my neighborhood now.
I see no one.
I see Liam Neeson from time to time. I saw Regis the other day miserable with a bag of groceries or something.
Of course I'm miserable. I'm interviewing penguins, for God's sake.
He was coming from a corner, store. I've seen Regis a lot in my neighborhood. That guy, it looks like, is just miserable when he's not on TV. He looks like he looks completely different when he's not on TV. He just has a scowl on his face, doesn't want to be recognized, and no one really cares, but he walks around like he's not a happy person. I don't know what that's about. That's my opinion. So Sean gets out of the bathroom, meets back up with Yoko Ono and this other woman, and I'm like, we got to follow him. We have to, because I know they live in the neighborhood, pretty close to where I'm living
Dakota,
these
right?
days. Yeah. So we go out of the movie theater first because I don't want to make it feel like we're following them from the get-go, and we're outside. And sure enough, they walk out, and there's 2 cars waiting for them with that. It looks like security where they even have the earpieces in. I'm like, wow, that's some heavy security, considering the movie theater is only 4 or 5 blocks from where they live. I'm like, they got a ride just to see a movie? I thought that was pretty interesting. So then they start walking, and we just start following them. And that's when I called you. I wanted a picture with Yoko Ono really bad because I think that's a biggie.
That is a biggie.
Sure.
That's a real biggie. And Sean, Sean Lennon's walking with her. They waved off the security people. That's what I'm getting at. So they took off. So now they're walking the streets of New York. And I've heard that Yoko Ono rarely does that, obviously, considering what happened. So I'm following them, and I'm waiting for... a don't cross sign or whatever, don't walk, so I could take their picture. But they're not stopping because they obviously know the game. They're like, no way. So they're looking both ways and walking pretty much in between cars. They are not going to stop, but they want to have a nice walk back to the Dakota. Everyone is coming out of their shops to stare at Yoko Ono and Sean Lennon, like going, holy crap, I can't believe this. I'm calling you like crazy.
What time was this?
It was at... right around 5:36, I guess the movie let out.
Just in class, yeah.
And I'm calling you because you know this shit. I'm like, do I approach Yoko Ono and ask for a photograph, or is she going to get all freaked out? Because most celebrities, I would approach them because whatever. But
might as well, because what the fuck are they going to do?
But that's what happened to John Lennon. Is the fan came up and wanted an autograph and stuff.
Well,
so
then maybe she learned her lesson and she'll better take one quickly.
So I'm thinking she's like, that's the thing that just freaks her out. Like, are you kidding me? And I didn't want to get into some kind of weird scene there. So you didn't call me back because I didn't know what protocol was on this celebrity sighting. So instead, I got to show you guys. I got the
picture from the back.
Yeah, I got the back of their heads, which means nothing to me. Maybe I could get this. Can I get somehow get this picture from my my camera phone online?
Sure.
Could have gotten that same picture on Mott Street.
So this is what I got.
It's the back of a couple of Chinese people.
I just got the back of their heads as they were. So, and then I followed them all the way to the Dakota. I felt like a stalker, to be honest with you.
You are one.
You were a
You
stalker.
should have felt like one.
What were you doing? Following someone from a distance and watching them?
Yeah, and just you should have walked up to him. The only time I did is I think it was Sean Lennon actually one time in a restaurant, but they were eating. He was with Rick Rubin and someone else, and I was like, yeah, not in a restaurant. But you always walk up, dude. First of all, they're hugely famous. It's not like it's a kid.
Jim.
It's not like it's a kid. You know, you could have walked up and just said hello.
Yeah.
When Seal and Heidi Klum had a little baby, I didn't approach him because you got a kid. You just don't bother somebody with a kid.
No, it's interesting. Not one person asked for their picture, by the way.
That's the beauty of it. Be an ass. They might have said no, but at least they would have.
They probably would have said no.
And
who cares?
And it seemed like this was a rare thing because when we got close to to the Dakota, the security people that were outside the movie were right outside the Dakota in their cars with their earpieces, all nervous, like, oh, thank God. And then they went in, and that was it.
Yeah, I would have gotten or tried to. It's awkward, though.
Yeah, you would have definitely.
When there's three of them.
You have no pride.
Nah, there's been times where I haven't, though, when it looks like there's three of them, they're talking. And sometimes it's awkward. You don't want to be just a complete ass.
But what does it matter?
You're right. I mean, I know you're right.
Like, if they say yes, you got the picture. If they say no, even if they get pissed, you walk away.
It's a good story. I always figure it's a good story.
Yeah.
If they say
the
no.
denials make the better story.
Well, the other thing, too, I didn't care as much because I had this dumb camera phone. These things are useless. And mine doesn't have a flash. So it's like, I'm going to go out of the way to get a picture that's going to look awful to begin with. You know what I mean? So I was like, maybe if I had my digital, I would have been a little more
I always carry my
aggressive.
digital.
Why don't they just put out a goddamn phone with a good camera in it?
They can, but they won't.
Of course they can. Just put out a goddamn phone with a good camera in it. I'm sick of looking at people's stupid pictures on their camera phones.
Let's say hi to Dana and
grainy
Comac.
Mess.
Dana, what's up?
Well, I followed Opie one day over in Huntington in, what's the mall over there? Walt Whitman Mall. And I want to know what the protocol was to approach you for a picture because I saw you walking with your Starbucks. And I said, oh, my God, there's Opie. And you guys just got on satellite radio. And I didn't know what the protocol was to approach you guys.
Yeah.
So what do I do in the event that I see one of you guys?
Everyone knows we're very, very, very good about that stuff. You come right up and say hi.
I had my husband on the phone. I said, I am walking behind Opie. I am, stalking him.
That's kind of creepy.
I said, now.
I'm not going to do that again.
I could stab him from here.
Her husband said, can you get a good shot?
I totally felt like a creepy stalker, but I was starstruck, and I said, I need his autograph, and I chickened out. So
no, you guys.
I just watched you walk up the mall and watched you disappear, and I left, and I was just disappointed that I didn't approach you.
No, it doesn't bother us at all. You come right up and get a picture or an autograph.
Autographs, I think, are easier to get than pictures because someone can kind of sign it real discreet without posing and getting someone else to do it.
Yeah, but a picture, not a lot of people know.
Is better, right?
Yeah, and not a lot of people know why they're taking a picture or who the fuck it is. If it's Yoko, obviously, you know, but...
I bet you they might have said, no, thank you, and kept walking just because... Like, Randy Johnson was such a dick that day because no one was bugging him.
That was hilarious. That blow-off was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
I loved watching that live.
You're mean.
Jimmy getting shut down by Randy Johnson.
He's a prick anyway.
And I'm running after Jimmy with his little camera. Two losers trying to get Randy Johnson's picture.
Yoko's really short, right?
Tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Did security walk with him?
No. That was the weird thing. No, not at all. Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
That is odd.
So.
All I'm thinking about is my primer. Do you understand that's in the back of my head? I'm obsessing over this.
Don't worry about it. You need something, though. Cover up that red. That'll bleed through anything.
And primer's not going to be able... I guarantee you it's not going to work out.
Yeah, it will. You could cover it up.
All right.
You think so?
Or Jimmy.
Yeah.
Don't you sweat it.
Just email Jimmy at yellowtreats@aol.com if you have some help for him, so we could do a radio show today, because he's just going to obsess about that all day.
I'm obsessed, dude.
All right, why don't we take our first break?
Bob Edwards stopped over. He got thirsty. Bob Edwards.
Today on the program, someone that interviewed Yoko Ono. Dick Cavett in studio. We rescheduled this,
everybody.
Also, Tyler Evans. He's in the new movie Supercross. We know a little bit about Supercross from the X Games, so we'll talk to him.
I know nothing about Supercross.
And Mark Maron, who's a lefty.
Yep.
A big-time lefty.
Oh, yeah.
He's a comic, good act. He's on Air America.
He does a good job on Air America. He's coming in studio today.
Mike Hanneman from Jersey says if you want to approach Opie, just walk up and say, good luck, bro.
No, don't say that to me.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today? Cancel all appointments.
Welcome to Radio Free America. America's ready. I'm ready. I mean, I want a million voices crying out in the wilderness. Jesus, let's get serious.
Now, take a deep cleansing breath. And begin.
Fix it, fix it.
Guess who's back? I'm over here now.
Back again. Nice head, Dick.
Bag. Bag it.
Guess who's back?
Oh, man.
Back again.
I don't believe it. Stupid. You're so stupid.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back? Tell a friend.
Turn it off.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Turn it off.
Oh, man, if I was older, I would totally start jacking off right now. What's all doing?
We're gonna have a problem here. Back on top of me, so everybody just follow me, 'cause we need a little hands in there, 'cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like on top of me, so everybody just follow me, 'cause we need a little hands in there, 'cause it feels so empty without me.
Okay, cut.
All right, here we go. Hold your ears, folks.
It's showtime.
The Opie and Anthony Show.
All right.
You guys are the best. Already they're calling in with suggestions. Thank you, guys.
Oh,
kills, somebody said.
People are very handy.
Of course. You're checking out the Opie and Anthony program. We call it a virus. And we ask you to spread the virus any way you can. This thing is growing every single day. It's starting to be really, really cool to do this radio show. We got a lot of audio in overnight, Anthony. A lot of audio. First of all, our buddy Scott Farrell is looking for a golden ticket. This golden ticket thing is, I don't know, it has a life of its own at this point. We gave our first golden ticket to the Ron and Fez show. They're starting September 12th on 202. And we have about 4 more golden tickets. Basically, it's our way of saving 4 shows from regular radio. And the rest of the guys, well, good luck to you. Good luck, bro. In the world of
luck, bro.
In the world of commercial radio, which is just getting worse and worse every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott Farrell, I got to tell you, he's on our short list. Absolutely, he's on our short list.
Short list, not shit list.
We worked with him at WNEW. The guy is absolutely out of his mind and is really, really good at what he does. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable at what he does.
Has he calmed down because he's had a kid?
He's trying.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying to calm down a little bit. This guy's been fired so many times. It's mind-boggling how many times the guy's been fired, and he doesn't learn his lesson. We've been fired twice. I've been fired 3 times total. Scott Farrell, easily 10 to 12 times, no problem. Easily. I got to call him up and ask him exactly what the number is.
That's what happens when you're drunk all the time.
Drunk. The guy was living in a hotel here in New York, like basically a crack hotel, because he didn't feel like getting a play, so his bill to the station was thousands and thousands of dollars for this hotel. It's unbelievable.
He's too honest. They're like, how come you're a little late this morning? I was doing coke.
Right.
All right.
Really. Most people will come up with, I have a slight cold or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes right for it. So he's doing a show somewhere, and honestly, he's a friend of ours, and I don't even know where he's doing radio. You lose track after a while. I thought he was still in Atlanta, but that ended, and now I think he's in L.A.
Yeah.
But he's living in Westchester, which is part of the New York area. So I don't know where the hell he is, where he's broadcasting, but he had this to say on his own show yesterday or the day before.
Is there anything he can't do on radio? Like anything he can't talk about on radio? He is fucking a brilliant dude, man.
He's great. Yeah. Love the guy. Here's Scott Farrell, one of our pals that we would love to give a golden ticket to.
I know all about XM. I know all about O&A. I know all about
the golden ticket.
Listen, the whack bags, the golden ticket. Listen, I always hope I get the golden ticket. Who wouldn't want to make out with Willy Wonka, right? Let's face it, I'm friends with all those guys and Mon and Fez and everybody. I heard them talking all filthy about me and everything on the air. That's beautiful stuff. Look, I love it. I'm all for it. I'm for anything. I'm for baseball on XM. I'm for hockey on the other one. I'm for everything. Notice how I didn't say the other one's name when I said on the other one? Notice how clever I've gotten in my old age. Listen, I just like to be a part of it. I like being on Fox Sports Radio. I like being on there. Everything's cool. It's all relative, dude. You know I still live in New York City. I'm here.
There you go.
Wow.
Elo, hire Scott Farrell. Give him a golden ticket.
That's right.
Give him a golden ticket.
Give him a lozenge. Jesus, that voice.
Actually, I thought the voice sounded better than it usually does.
It wouldn't even be a golden ticket for Farrell. It'd be a temporary golden pass until he did something awful.
Per usual. Ben just IM'd and said his hotel bill was $53,000, and he walked out on it.
Good boy.
Walked out
there
on
you
a
go.
$53,000
Let
hotel
the Penguins
bill.
pay it.
So there you have it. Other people are...
Let the Penguins pay it.
It was awful.
You know, I didn't even hear the joke. And
Let the Penguins pay it. Yeah. Hey, I'm not a big fan of the Comfies. Yuck.
Kind of like a penguin. It was a cute joke.
Oh,
it was
awful.
cute like a penguin there.
I wasn't going to let myself get away with that one.
What's that supposed to be? Some kind of sick joke?
Now there's a diaper.
So, you know what we could do really fast here?
Terrible.
Remember Mark Muse, the kid? He's like 5'3" or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And he's, did he graduate high school? I forget. I forget
he
his
was
whole
in
deal.
college.
And he's a sarcastic son of a bitch, and we kind of liked what he brought to the table so far as a golden ticket goes.
Yeah, very rough. Very rough around the edges.
Yeah, he's just getting started in his career, and he sent in more stuff. They're really short. So from the Mark Muse Show, looking for a golden ticket, here he goes talking about the Amish.
A high school senior in Pennsylvania is drawing rave reviews for his role as the school's cafeteria critic.
This is in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Is this an Amish school?
No, because it's against their religion to gripe about cafeteria food.
Oh, I was gonna go with that too.
Go on with it.
Hey, William, this food is great. Did your mother grow it last night? Maybe I should write a newspaper about it. Dang it.
Hey, how about this in the Amish? Hey, William, is that your sister? Yeah. How old is she? 13. Where's she going? To get an abortion in Florida.
Oh.
I think I like him as a solo a little better.
Yeah.
Than with his sidekick.
His sidekick, Brian.
His buddy.
We'll give him one. No, this one's too long. All right, well, Mark. See how the tides change?
Maybe you should just have left it where it was.
He's got more examples, but we're going to bail. Thank you, Mark.
That was pretty bad.
Good luck to you.
How old is she? 13?
We have another golden ticket hopeful here in front of me.
Who is this?
Theo Lemasters' oral presentation.
What?
Theo Lemasters? Boy, that's a radio name.
Theo Lemasters?
Theo.
I don't know. This guy's looking for one of our golden tickets.
Hi. Oh, I guess this is my oral presentation for trying to get my own show on XM 202. I'm 28 years old, got 10 years experience in radio. I've worked for Clear Channel a couple of times. I worked for Cox Radio once. Worked in a handful of 4, I guess, AM stations, doing talk radio, sports talk radio, producing, doing behind-the-scenes stuff. I even did radio sales for a while.
Oh my God. That is just a bang-up tape. Did he record that and think, this is absolutely what we want?
Travis?
Yeah, he sent in about 3 demo tracks, which were terrible. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he decided to make this 8-minute oral presentation. as to why he should get a job, and pretty much all 8 minutes is self-pity, self-loathing, and just, well, you'll hear
With
it.
that
I mean,
awful music?
Yeah, that goes out through the entire thing.
This kid's good. I like him.
People still don't get it. They're sending like 20-minute bits and stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And if I see something over a minute and a half, I'm not even listening. I don't have the time. And we keep telling these people, but they don't listen to us. They assume that we're going to sit down and listen to a 40-minute demo or something. You got to hit us quick and fast. Any PD in radio will tell you if you don't hit them within the first 10 seconds, they don't even listen anymore.
PD.
They take the cassette out, if it's the old days, and throw it in the garbage.
Done.
So, in between my radio gigs, 7 different radio stations right here in Richmond. I've never left the Richmond market.
Yeah.
I've worked in 7 stations here.
Right.
But I've given up. I wait tables to supplement my income between radio jobs, and I do a lot of eBaying and different things. And
Kill yourself.
Wow.
I am so annoyed listening to this. Kill yourself.
And the music in the background is so annoying.
I know this isn't really convincing you, but you should. You should give it. That, or you can just tell me how pathetic I am. Because I really don't stand a chance here. I have no chance. But I gotta try. I gotta eat my candy bar. I really want a golden ticket.
You suck.
And it's kind of like the obsessive-compulsive thing. It's like, did I lock the door? Of course I locked the door. I'm going to go check and make sure the door's locked. And the door's locked, so I'm going to walk away. Did I lock it? Of course I did. It's the same thing. It's, can I win this? No, I have no chance. There's no way. They'll just goof on me. But I'm going to send something in. Yeah, right. So you're going to send something in. Uh-huh. But you can't win. Oh, no. There's no way I can win. But you're going to send it in. Yeah, why?
Turn it off.
Maybe I'll win. You just said you won't. I know. I won't.
Turn it off!
So why are you doing... Well, I want to win. But you can't win. There's no way they're going to choose you. Oh, I know. Yeah. I don't stand a chance here. But you're still going to do it. Uh-huh. Yeah. Why are you still going to do it? I want a golden ticket. Give me a golden.
Oh, my God. You lose. You get nothing, sir. Good.
You better get your head and your ass wired together, or I will take a giant shit on you.
I wish I was related to that guy. He just rules.
Let's say hi to Bleacher Anthony. Bleacher Anthony, what's up?
Hey, how you guys been doing, man?
All right.
Hey, listen, I was listening to Furl on 142, XM 142 last night. He's filling in on Fox Sports, I guess.
Okay.
He was going off on Terrell Owens, saying, I hope he breaks his leg. I hope he dies. I don't care. Screw you all. And then this black guy called up, and he's like, yo. He's like, leave Terrell Owens alone. He starts killing on him. He says, I hope you die in a car accident. I hope you jaws of life take your legs out and all this stuff. He's just as crazy as he ever was. And I was at that softball game. There was nothing funnier ever in NEW than him doing that softball commentating. I just hope he gets a golden ticket.
Yeah, we did a celebrity softball game, and Scott Farrell did the announcing for the entire stadium, and the stuff he came up with was amazing. We've got to give him a golden ticket, Elo. Come on, let's go.
Right, let's get your head and your ass wired together.
All right.
The review's coming in for that last guy. What was his name?
Theo.
Lee
Masters.
I've been to more exciting funerals. And why can't a bear attack be caught on tape involving this guy?
All right.
He sucked ass.
The next show looking for a golden ticket. A show called Tom and Terry.
Uh-oh.
Is it T-E-R-Y or T-E-R-R-I?
T-E-R-R-I.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be a gem. Where are they from?
Is it Tom in the Hole? We hate holes. I'm sorry. As far as radio goes, I don't want, that came across really bad.
It certainly did.
But when it comes to radio and doing this every day, we hate the hole.
Radio clam.
Let's just say it. We don't like girls around here.
No, we love girls.
We don't like chicks.
We love girls when we can exploit them.
That's right.
But as far as like being an equal in a radio studio, I don't think so.
You like girls when you get a nice pink glove.
Here's Tom and Terry.
You know what that is, right?
Of course.
All right.
Tom and Terry from KQRS, Minnesota.
Oh, I hate your...
I guess I should set this up so they have a fair shot. This is Ho Mo, a parody commercial.
Oh, a parody commercial.
Ho, H-O-E, Mo, M-O-W.
Oh, I hate yard work. All summer and fall, I'd hoe the garden, then I'd have to mow the lawn. I wish there was an easy way to do both.
Well, now there is. Introducing the Homo, the all-new gardening machine that both hoes and mows. Here's what people are saying about the Homo.
I used to spend hours outside in the hot sun with sweat glistening on my muscular chest and legs. Then I realized I need a Homo.
My husband has never spent any time inside with me. That's when I knew he was homo material.
The Homo can pound a trench through the mud, then trim your lawn and suck the clippings like you wouldn't believe.
I told my husband our neighbor was getting busy with a big old tool.
So I looked out the window and I said, that's gotta be a Homo.
We never thought we'd see a homo around here.
The Homo works great all over your property, in the front yard or in the rear. And it looks great.
Why, that's one good-looking Homo.
There's never been a better time to join the happy Homo crowd. And with special year incentives, your Homo dealer will bend over forwards to satisfy you.
Wow, I'm just curious enough to buy.
The Homo. No family is complete without one.
All right.
I don't get it.
I don't. I gotta be honest, and I'm not trying to be a buzzkill, but I don't think that the Homo is a real piece of equipment.
Really?
No.
I was gonna go buy one.
See, every
Sounds
radio
like a
guy,
great machine.
including Ant and I, have done the double entendre.
Oh,
fit.
stop!
But it has to be based on it. What?
And it's gotta be fast.
It hoes and it mows, Opie. So it's a homo.
Right.
How about this? The Homo, tears and robe not included.
Wow. Yeah.
That was a little bit of a reach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good production.
Good luck
nice
to
voice.
Tom and Terry. Do you have the Willy Wonka sound effect there, in?
Well, do they have any other
Where is
clips,
that one?
maybe? Is that all they sent?
Oh, that's okay.
No, maybe they have a better clip.
Just fine. We'll stop that
I'll
one
bet
there.
they're terrific. I want to hear Terry talk.
That's okay.
I like girls in radio.
No, you don't.
I do, Ant. They're funny.
Do you guys want to continue?
With the show
yeah.
together? Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, as a group? Yes.
As far as the golden ticket thing goes,
Yeah.
we have some audio from the Hideout. A lot of people talking about the Hideout in O-Town. It might be an actual radio show in Orlando that we like. And then we have audio from the Big O and Duke show.
Oh, yeah, this guy's out of Baltimore.
Big O and Duke.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Big O and Duke. Basically, they spend their whole show promoting our show. And their managers and their I don't know. I'm stalling here. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm highlighting, so now I know where it is next time.
Oh, okay.
Get your head and your ass wired together.
Basically, they spend their show talking about us and promoting our show, and they're allowed to do this for some reason. Mind-boggling. Once again, that's today's word, mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling.
So, without further ado, here's some audio from the Big O and Duke show. They're on WHFS in Baltimore, Maryland.
See how salty Spiegel is? Look, he won't even look at me.
I can't. He won't look at me.
I'm
either.
trying to talk to him during the segment. He won't even say anything.
What
Spiegel, are
do?
you going to participate anymore on the show today?
No, not today. Or I don't know.
He's on a skiff.
Why are you mad now?
Why am I? Well, why do you have to point to me now and say that's a different number? I didn't pull that number out of my hat.
Spiegel.
The number.
Spiegel.
I'm talking. Please let me finish my sentence.
Yes, he's pissed.
Jesus.
Awesome. Ratings.
That number. I didn't pull that number out of my hat. That number is a quote.
Why are you taking personal offense to the fact that you brought that number up and then he brought up another
Because you
number?
make it look like I made up that number.
All right, there's a little interest there.
Yes.
I don't know the background of why they're all pissed off.
Well, you don't have to be here either, buddy.
I
but
don't.
The reality
That's
is
true.
This. The reality
I don't
is
have
this.
to be here.
If you don't want to participate in the show, we won't go to you
What, are you just
anymore.
gonna
Good.
Are you going to quit every month now? Is this a new pattern for you? Would you suck it up, for God's sake?
Suck what up? The
Suck it
attacks?
up. Be a man. Who in this room hasn't been attacked viciously by everyone else in this room?
Wow, that sounds like our show.
That could just as easily be, bah, dude, I was on the phone. Bah! I like it.
Yes, Travis?
To set that up, he quit smoking, and apparently he was caught
Smoking?
Smoking, yeah.
Okay.
I don't need to
Everyone.
be yelled at. There's a difference.
Oh, my God. Do you realize the people that we work for? Do you understand that we have
If
to
you're
stay
having
together?
a bad day, don't take it out on
If anybody's listening right now, we need Kate's gloves so we can all wear them to deal with Josh
Look,
Spiegel.
here's what we need to realize, Spiegel, is that you're either with us against them or you're with them against us.
Why do you think I'm with them?
Because look at you right now. This is like the second time where you've gone completely off the handle on the air about something that means nothing.
Who else went off the handle against me?
I went on, and in fairness, I was a little rude to you.
Well,
And I
hold on.
will agree with that.
Can I defend you, though? Oscar didn't stop talking on the show and stop doing his job.
Damn, I wish I had some popcorn.
Kind of like them. Yeah. I'd like to hear more from these guys.
I'd like to see what they do when they're not arguing.
Yeah, of course. So what's this Count Spiegel calls in one?
That's pretty much, I forget. This guy, when they came back to drop the stuff off, he said Count Spiegel apparently is supposed to be Spiegel, who's one of the characters on the show. It's supposed to be his father or something, and that's how he set it up.
Spiegel! In my gigantic Jewish vampiric synagogue castle.
Count Spiegel. Why can't Josh have the potbelly pig at the house?
My son is not allowed to have a pot-bellied pig. It is unholy and reeks of garlic and holy water. I'm Count Spiegel.
What about the puppy? Why can't he have the puppy?
I do not want the puppy licking my face with its Christian puppy lips. Ooh, I'm Count Spiegel.
God, Count Spiegel, thank you for calling in, buddy.
Son. Son?
Yes.
Do not say you love Jesus anymore on the show.
So Spiegel's part of the show, and his
something
father's
funny
name
about
Count
that.
Spiegel.
There's something really funny about that.
I like the catchphrase.
Count Spiegel.
I'm Count Spiegel.
What happened?
Count Spiegel called in, dude. I don't know.
Oh, my, I missed it?
So what are you going to do? You
That
going
old
to take a
gag.
stand and get the potbelly pig or what?
Well, I suggested I bring it home for the weekend just so we could try it out. And we'll see what happens.
Was he cool with it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I missed Josh's first appearance by Josh.
I love Jesus. And I praise him every day.
All right. Little taste.
These guys are miserable in commercial radio.
Little taste.
Miserable.
They passed the first round.
Yeah.
They should send some more stuff. The Big O and Duke show at WHFS in Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Good, boys.
They got a good attitude, energy, seem a little honest. Like that in a radio show. Going back to the homo bit.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to Tim in Nashville. Tim, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say about the homo bit. That's directly from Bob and Tom. Punch it up.
Is it? Can't get any confirmation on that?
I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of radio guys do that. They find bits that work by other guys, and they just redo them, knowing that show will never hear them doing that bit.
Right.
Let's say hi to Ben in Minnesota. Ben, what's up?
Hey, guys. Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, that's
Not his birthday!
Sorry. That's Tom Bernard from KQ. I think you guys know him or have heard of him. That wasn't a very good bit of theirs, and they're a lot better than that, so you should give them another chance.
They got to send something better in.
Oh, that was Tom, huh? Yeah, I've heard of him. I think he kicks Howard's ass in Minnesota, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Howard was here for about a week or something. I didn't listen to him much, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the many guys that kicked Howard's ass, but Howard failed to tell his audience about all the shows that did kick his ass. Brother Weeze in Rochester was another one that kicked Howard's ass. Howard never got close to him.
All right, punch it out, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, maybe we could get some more from Tom. Chucky, remember we were talking about the billboard?
Yes.
This is the guy that organized the whole damn thing. Chucky from whackbag.com. If you missed what we were talking about, you'll have to listen to the replay. But basically, the Pests got their own billboard in O-Town, Orlando. Chucky, what's up?
Just want to let you guys know that we've now put together a press release that has already been sent out to a couple places in Orlando, and will be sent out elsewhere.
Oh, yeah, now they're sending out their own press releases because we suggested this. They basically put up a billboard in Orlando to make fun of Jim Phillips and how the Pests and the O&A Army pretty much took over his show for a week.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to drop it. They now got a billboard declaring victory. And then we suggested on the show maybe they should, send out a press release to the local media down in Orlando and all those radio websites. And now I'm hearing that you guys have done just that.
Yeah, in fact, the draft was in Dugout Dogs and Boston Stranglers PM while you guys were mentioning that.
You know, sooner or later the pests are going to fire us.
Yeah, they're going to have the power.
All right, so the press release. Well, we'll see what happens from here. Let us know, okay?
And that has been sent to Ben, and happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank you, bud.
Send it out to Elo, too, your press release. He likes reading that stuff.
Oh, we'll definitely send it to him.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Very cool, right? All right, you want to do one more golden ticket thing?
Sure.
This is the Hideout in O-Town. I think they're friends with Ron and Fez or something. There's a Ron and Fez connection or something to these guys.
Yeah?
I'm not really sure. I've heard.
One used to be their producer.
Who, what?
One of them used to be their producer.
Well, oh, all right.
One of them used to be their producer.
And now they're doing their own thing?
Ron and Fez have had more producers than any other radio show ever.
Hey, Fez.
Hey, Ronnie.
Can't wait for Ron and Fez debuting September 12th on this fine channel on XM 202. All right, it's the Hideout, Real Radio 104.1 in O-Town. Is this the same station as Mr. Phillips?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Oh,
That could be interesting. They're talking about icy hot on balls.
Fine, whatever. Trust me. A little bit or a lot, it ain't gonna matter.
Looks like whipped cream.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Screwed anyways.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, come on. Keep your shorts up a little higher than that.
All right, so it's going on the junk and the undercarriage. I'll count it down.
Is there anything you do to get...
This is a great idea. Gotta tell you, it's a great idea. Got one of their dudes in the studio, and they're gonna
slather him with
slather the icy hot on his balls and his and his shafty.
Should be freshly shaved nuts.
So let's see what happens here.
Really hurt.
I'll count it down.
Is there anything you do to get out of this?
Nothing.
Come on, dude.
I mean, do you have anything in mind?
I'll clean chunks off.
No.
God damn it. Not happening.
If you clean it off with your own junk.
No. That's gay. That's so gay.
Or just rub it against each other? All right, fine.
My hand's starting to burn. Can we do this?
All right, let's do it.
God damn it. Come on, man.
5.
Icy hot to the junk.
4.
In the Hideout.
3. 2. 1. Put it down your pants.
Ah!
How does it feel?
It's just chilly now.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This isn't going to be good. Oh, no. There it goes.
Let me see your hands.
There it goes. Ah, there it goes. Ah, there it goes. Ah. All right. There it goes. Can we get a towel? Is that not enough? You got a lot. Look at mine. Compared to his. Look at it. Oh, my God.
How's it feel?
Ah, it's cold.
It's still cold? It hasn't heated up yet?
Okay, it's beginning to. Okay, it's beginning to. It's beginning to get a little warm.
You're dancing like you have to go pee.
Dude, this is a lot worse than last time. Okay, this isn't good. This isn't good, Dubs. It's really burning. Oh, my God.
So far, that's what we have. It's the Hideout, Real Radio in O-Town.
I hope people understand how desperate other people are to entertain you, and I include myself in this, but this man is actually putting a knowingly painful substance on his genitals to make people happy.
Yeah.
I hope the public appreciates that.
You want to hear more?
Yeah.
Okay. Piqued our interest so far?
Oh, my God. All right, can I get a towel?
No.
Can I get a towel, at least for the hand, so I can take... Oh, man. Take it like a man. Oh, man. Take it like a man, you. Oh, man, it's burning. My butthole.
What? How did it get back there?
We were supposed to make a trail, weren't we? Ow.
Not all the way to that.
Okay, what are we supposed to do now? We're just going to yell for 5 minutes?
Yes. Basically, if you can compose yourself and hold a conversation, please do.
This is so good.
Get out of my...
You like that?
Sit down. Sit down, at least. Do something. El Jefe and Chunks have just put some icy hot on their junk.
What are you going to do, rip it off? I can't take it, dude. I can't take it.
What do you mean you can't take it? What are you going to do?
Would it happen if you had Bellucci, huh? Oh, my God.
What are you using to wipe off? What is that?
My butt. My butt.
Guy yelling, my butt. Oh, that is silly.
Well, we have Icy Hot on Balls Part 3. Are you guys still interested?
Sure.
Right.
Let's see the conclusion.
Ah!
Funny.
Ah!
Does it keep on getting hotter as it cools down?
I can't take this, dude. I swear to God, I can't take this,
What do you want to do? What do you want to do, Hefe?
Stop. Hold on, stop screaming. What do I do? I gotta get this off.
What do you want to do? What's your instinct right now?
Water?
No, water's the worst thing for it. It's like eating hot sauce. You don't want to put water on.
Oh, my God, dude. I swear to Christ, I can't do this. This hurts so bad. It hurts so goddamn bad. It's not supposed to feel like this. I'm going to pass out, man.
You're not going to pass out. You're going to be fine. Just tough it out. Bite your leg. Be somebody.
Shut up.
Be tough.
Oh, my God.
Hey, it's not bad.
That's pretty funny.
They have one more track. Icy Hot on Balls, Part 4. Do we go with it?
You have to finish it.
This is just an observation that I've made. I've actually edited like the first 30 seconds of the Icy Hot applied, and this is what it sounds like. Very gay.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're an ass. Oh, man. Oh, man, it's burning. My butthole. God damn you, Tuttle.
How gay. You and Chunks were gaying
God
out.
damn you, dude.
That clip is going to last forever.
Oh, my God. I found if you don't move, it's okay.
Watch like 30 seconds after not moving. You're going to have to move.
Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my Jesus.
Oh, my Jesus.
And there you have it, the Hideout, Real Radio 104.1 in O-Town.
That's funny.
They piqued their interest. They passed the first round for a golden ticket. There you have it. Eric, make sure you take note of that. All right? Very good.
A lot of people checking in saying it sounds very gay.
Yeah.
Sounds like Bob Kelly. Hold my balls, man. Hold my ass, man.
Gay radio equals funny.
The hell happened?
I don't know. Opie just broke something.
Wow, that could have been dangerous.
My spoon shattered. Let's say hi to Keith in Jersey. Keith, what's up?
Hey, Owen. Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
You know, the whole purpose of me getting XM in the first place was to listen to you guys, not for commercial-free music, which is cool. Like if you guys are talking to a pro wrestler or something, or, you know, maybe a topic once in a blue moon that I'm really not interested in, I'll throw on some music.
Yeah.
But 99 times out of 100, I'm listening to your show. And so this whole golden ticket thing is really starting to upset me because I'm thinking, okay, if XM's going to give you guys an extra channel to throw other shows on, that would be cool.
We're not playing our cards to you yet, sir. I'll tell you this much.
Yes.
Most of our replays will not be going away. Okay?
So
don't panic. Your pals are in control.
All right. As long as we get to hear you all day long, I'll be all right.
Sir, there's going to be at least 2 to 3 hours over the course of the week where you're able to hear this program.
That's just brilliant, Jimmy.
We got it all figured out, all right?
All right, man.
You just go with it. Let's say hi to Pete, who's downstairs. Pete? He's on the street. What's up, Pete? On the sidewalk.
What's up, guys?
Hey. Pete.
Yeah, I'm still chilling down here. You guys said hold on, so I'm still waiting by the damn parking meter.
Oh, you were the kid that was outside the station today when I skated up.
Yeah, that was me with the sign.
What was the
Office
sign?
still stands, Jimmy.
I enjoyed that. I had a good kick out of that.
What did the sign say?
What was that?
What did the sign say?
Open up that sign for me there, right?
He's down there with his friends. They've been waiting all morning to
I
say
will
hi
track
to us.
down a fresh tranny for Norton for an internship.
He's just holding that sign up on the sidewalk. Are you getting horrified looks, sir?
What was that? Sorry, it's loud as hell down here.
Are you getting horrified looks from the passerbys?
We haven't been holding it up too much. We're pretty drained. We've been up all night drinking coffee, so we all kind of want to die right now.
Ooh, you guys want to bring Pete and his friends up? They've been waiting out there all morning with a sign.
All right.
Pete, you're the one looking for the
like
internship?
A dullard,
Yeah,
though.
that's me.
Hey, do we have any Icy Hot in studio?
Oh, shit.
We have some Icy Hot? Hey, bro, you want to do the Icy Hot bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
We could rip that off immediately.
I'm going to be completely honest. We're going to rip off
the Hideout in Orlando.
No, we'll give him major props. This guy wants an internship. We just played the audio of the Hideout doing the Icy Hot thing. Why don't we have Pete do the Icy Hot thing to see what kind of gumption he has?
We got to do something different, though. How about gasoline?
Gasoline and matches.
Right. Yeah.
All right, we'll figure something out. Why don't we let Pete and the gang up? They've been waiting out there all morning.
But how about this? They don't sit here because they might disturb us. Make them sit in the office and surround Ben. Put all three of them around Ben. Let them just look at him highlighting in his email file. Highlighting nothing.
All right.
Highlighting, unhighlighting, scrolling.
Psycho.
P, we'll come get you in a little bit. Taylor in Virginia, what's up?
Not much, guys. I just was thinking the Icy Hot bit reminded me an awful lot of the staple gun bit you guys did on NEW.
Oh, man. That shan't happen again.
The staple gun challenge.
Well, how about you have the parking meter guy come on up and do that with his buddies?
Knowing FedEx, he runs another great Opie and Anthony fan site called oavirus.com. It's a site that has all our old audio. I'm sure he'll throw that up there in the very near future. oavirus.com. But basically, Ant and I
took a great contest. I never heard of this one before. We kind of who invented it. You take a newspaper and you put it over your leg, and you take a high-powered staple gun, not just a stapler, a staple gun, and you put it on the newspaper, and you staple. Now, there's a full newspaper there, so it really doesn't go through that much. You might just feel the tips just pushing on your pants a little bit.
Well, in the beginning, you feel...
Yeah. And then I would hand the stapler to Opie, who then must remove one page from the newspaper, put the newspaper on his leg, and staple. Then he gives it back to me, remove a page, and you keep going back and forth, removing a page, making the paper thinner and thinner. You feel a little more of it going through. It finally gets through your pants and give a pinch in the leg. And before you know it, when you have maybe 5 or 6 pages left out of the newspaper, you're really catching some meat with the stapler. And I think, who won that one? I think you did.
Who won that one?
Who won? Dude,
who won that one? I won.
It got down to nothing. Got down to one sheet.
FedEx, get that audio up on oavirus.com in the next day or two. Who won that one? That was one of my proudest moments. I started taking the staple gun directly to my leg.
That's what how you won. I didn't want to eliminate any more paper. I'd had it. My leg was bleeding, and the pants just stained with blood, holes in them.
I still got tiny little... scars on my thigh.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, a bunch of holes in my my upper thigh.
So you guys did it wrong because you made it go too fast. You should have done the same bit with a phone book.
Ah,
yeah. One page at a time. Down to Zabisco.
All right, we're bringing that kid up.
Aardvark exterminators. This ought to take a while.
Matt from South Jersey. Starting to send in a lot of production for this radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up with this Howard Stern thing that's hilarious. It's really good. We caught Howard lying once again on his stupid radio show. He's claiming that, the Little Doggy Company is just selling subscriptions like crazy because of his announcement. He's like, they're already over 3 million subscribers. Blatantly lying to his audience.
Yep.
The Little Doggy Company doing well. Satellite radio in general is going to do well. So,
well, now the Securities and Exchange Commission would feel about Howard getting on the air and bullshitting about sub numbers.
Yeah, basically, Howard said that they're over 3 million already because of his announcement, and the fact is the company's at 1.8. So he added over 1.2 million to the actual total that anyone could look up.
Yeah.
So we discussed that on our show recently. And Matt from South Jersey took the audio, and he threw this little thing together as we go to break. What you're about to hear is Howard Stern lying through his teeth.
He's lying again. He's doing this to pump up the company he's going to and try to make it seem bigger and better than it really is.
I'm ready to change radio.
I've been saving my money up, so I'm going to go with you guys.
Good. I'm ready to do it once again. I'm ready to change the way people listen.
And change what they listen to.
We're already doing it.
It's being done.
And that just drives him nuts that he isn't the first guy to do it.
It's being done already.
This is why I hate radio. There's a bunch of liars out there that will just spew shit. Liars! And then their listeners will believe it because their hero is telling them that. Liars! What you are about to hear is Howard lying through his teeth.
Sirius went from 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already.
But basically, these are the numbers that are available to anyone. XM has 4.4 million subscribers. Sirius has 1.8. But yesterday on Howard's program, he said this.
Yeah, but I'll tell you the truth. Here's what happened.
I'll tell you the truth.
Sirius went from 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already.
He is insane. Can somebody have this man committed to an institution before he hurts himself or somebody? He has obviously lost his fucking mind.
600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already.
You want to know why?
Sirius went from 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already. 3 million already. 3 million already. 3 million already. Sirius went from 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already. 3 million already. 3 million already. Sirius went from 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million already. 3 million already.
He has obviously lost his fucking mind.
Bravo. Matt from South Jersey coming up with that one.
That's great.
How good is that? And Howard has to just sit there and take it. 'Cause he doesn't have a boss that could shut us up anymore. Douche.
3 million already. Yeah.
Oh, God, that makes me just so happy.
Just keep bullshitting. That's what he's done his entire career.
Hey, where's that Jack Black song? That's what I really want to play going into break.
Hawk.
Getting a lot of requests for that from yesterday. Oh, here it is. All right.
It's a wonderful little tune. Oh, what?
Just feeling awkward.
Yeah, you got to take it out of the thing.
All right.
It's free-form radio.
Everyone's just staring at me as I try to cue this thing up for everybody. For everyone's listening pleasure.
I have to apologize before I told an inappropriate joke.
Why? What happened?
The man scolded me.
What happened? Is that a tease?
No.
Oh.
It was just the man scolded me for telling my inappropriate joke.
What joke?
Some older gentleman in the military. I don't remember what I said.
Oh,
he said something inappropriate. The older gentleman gave me a scolding.
You're making us, scatter and scamper. You're setting Ant and I up to push a stupid button for you.
No, I don't want a button push.
He's not ready for the button.
Oh, Ant's always
obviously.
ready. What button?
So let's make believe no one heard what you just said and now do it again. Because now we're ready.
Now I'm scared.
Now we're ready. Go ahead.
You offended somebody?
What happened?
I said something about, it was just, I told an inappropriate joke.
What's that supposed to be, some kind of sick joke? You better get your head and your ass wired together, or I will take a giant shit on you.
I want to fucking drive to Maine with him.
Oh, let's get out of here for a while. Here's Jack Black. We played this yesterday. We love this song, but it contains...
Warning, warning, C-word alert, C-word alert, warning, warning.
That's right, it contains the C-word.
Oh, there are several ways to irritate a lady. You could mention that her hat's gone out of style. Oh, that's sure to get her miffed. It's bound to cause a tiff. But here's a little trick to go the extra mile. Give her just a little kick in the cunt. Kick in the cunt? Kick in the cunt. That's about a nice kick in the cunt. You'll sure have a stumped if you go for the punt with a jolly good kick in the cunt. Now a lady of grace will show utter distaste for a slur or a randy suggestion. But if you call her a whore, it may do nothing more than make a subtle change in her complexion. So give her a kick in the cunt. A kick in the cunt? Kick in the cunt. That's about a lovely kick in the cunt, eh? If you aim to annoy, there's no better ploy than a rousing good kick in the cunt. Now you might want to sucker a club in the choppers, a shock up and making a grab at a knockers, but she'll pull the coppers and you'll in the jail where you eat bread and water and shit in a pail. So if you've enough of a womanly guff, no need to be rough, it'll be quite enough to call her bluff with a huff and a puff to stuff your foot straight into her muff. Just an old-fashioned kick in the cunt. A kick in the cunt? A kick in the cunt. As about a nice kick in the cunt. You'll sure have a stumped when you go for the punt with a jolly good kick in the cunt. It's on! The winning man, bring it all, right, knee to the head, knee to the groin, hammer, well done with it.
Yeah.
Which, what?
What?
Where?
Sure. What?
Who?
Splat.
We have problems.
Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up.
We have a legend making his way into the studio. Got to say hi to Dick Cavett. He's here to promote the Dick Cavett Show, Rock Icons. It's a 3-disc DVD set featuring 9 episodes from 1969 to 1974, featuring Janis Joplin, David Bowie, George Harrison, Sly and the Family Stone, Stevie Wonder, and many more. I'm stalling here. Get him in here. Highlights include 3 episodes with Janis Joplin and the Woodstock Show, taped the day after the festival with Jefferson Airplane, Joni Mitchell, David Crosby, and Stephen Stills. He just went to the bathroom. This was the big intro. This was my big radio intro for the legend, Dick Cavett. I was going to, do this whole thing. He walks in, and he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good to be here, blah, blah, blah. And then we start our interview. But instead, now we have to stall. This show is
I've never seen that happen.
Eric, I just want one segment to work on this program. Just one.
I blame Hawk for this one.
I just want to come back from break and have one smooth segment from beginning to end. That's all I ask.
You're not getting smooth or slick.
We've been doing this radio thing a long time. We just want one smooth segment. We want perfect questions. We want some laughs, some thoughts being provoked and thrown back and forth.
Thought-provoking.
We want you as a listener to sit there in your car and go,
I don't think we're very thought-provoking.
I know, but we're trying. We're trying.
I don't know.
We're trying to have all different, textures.
I'd like to,
What's the matter with you?
No, we're just sitting here. I had the big intro.
That's one of my lines for my acting.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way into the studio, Dick Cavett, promoting the Dick Cavett Show, Rock Icons, 3-disc DVD set, available August 16th, 2005. That is, it's out today, right? It's out today, featuring 9 episodes from 1969 to 1974, featuring Janis Joplin, David Bowie, George Harrison, Sly and the Family Stone, Stevie Wonder, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Cavett.
Yes.
There he is. Hi, this is Bob. Join the Peace Corps Hope. I'm sorry, I had to do that.
I was giving you the big intro, and then you went to the bathroom on me.
Not on you. Clear that out.
You know how expensive that would be?
I went on it near you.
We're trying to be professional broadcasters.
David Lloyd, the great comedy writer. Say again?
We were trying to be professional broadcasters, give you the respect that you deserve and a nice intro. And then you're just wandering around the halls.
I know, it shows no respect at all, but that's my generation, We don't give a darn.
You can say shit.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. This guy sitting here,
Jimmy Norton,
made me laugh so hard so many times.
Really?
That it was nice today to be able to see him and realize that he really exists.
Where have you seen Jimmy?
I haven't seen him, but friends tell me about it.
Oh, is that it? He is very funny.
Oh, that's a great honor. Thank you.
We love our little Jimmy.
Tough Crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen him on Tough Crowd?
I didn't notice when that left us.
Yeah, they canceled us in, I think, we knew by November of last year that we were done.
Wasn't that a great show?
Oh.
You get all kinds of views on a bunch of different
I know how it feels to be canceled.
Yeah, you've had that happen a couple of times. But, man, you just keep coming back, don't you?
Whenever it happened to me, I always was kind of exhilarated by it.
Really?
It meant, there'll be something new.
That's true, and there always was.
It was true several times over.
Yeah, you definitely have had your share of firings.
Yeah.
But
look at me. I'm still got my head high and...
Yeah.
I'm a regular little soldier. What the hell am I talking about?
You've carved out an interesting niche, though. I don't think there's anybody that you could really compare to Dick Cavett, because you were in movies as an actor.
Well,
You've done the interview shows, which are great. You have a credibility as an interviewer, yet you were part of the subculture of the '60s that you appeared on Laugh-In, and I don't think you could really find anybody that is similar to a Dick Cavett. today.
Gosh, I wish I could help you with this problem.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering if you thought of anybody that kind of fits the same bill as you in today's world.
I probably don't think in those terms.
No?
I always just thought maybe something will come along again and stay on as long as you can. And on the ABC network, people said, you might want to kind of brace yourself because if anything that goes more than 5 weeks. Was it Milton Berle who said to end the Vietnam War, put it on ABC?
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be canceled it'll be canceled in 3 weeks.
Brilliant.
That's a great line. And you got something in common with Dick Cavett, Anthony.
I do.
Yeah, I'm reading his bio here. He struck friendships with Stan Laurel, Woody Allen, and Groucho Marx.
Yeah.
You know, I've been goofed on.
Anthony's a vampire.
Relentlessly.
He used to hang out with Groucho Marx.
I did not hang out.
And look how good he still
looks. As a child, I met Groucho shortly before he died in the mid-'70s. And they keep talking about me like I was hanging out with him.
Your best buddy, Groucho.
Yeah, me and Groucho were hanging out back in the 40s. No, of course. When did you meet Groucho?
I never met any of the other brothers, but Groucho I met, we could find out the day if we had to. It was the day after I met Woody Allen. I was sent by The Tonight Show to go scout this comic at the Blue Angel. And
anyone of note?
Allen got very few laughs and turned and left the stage after a while.
You were scouting out Woody Allen at the time?
For the Parr Show.
Oh, was it Jack Parr?
Wow. The Parr Show. And they said there's a kid, he wrote for Sid Caesar when he was 17. I thought, geez, I've got to know this guy. Called him. Voice didn't sound familiar. Thank you very much. Let people wonder what I'm talking about.
Starbucks coffee.
Starbucks bargain coffee. And after the show, I went and Woody was sitting in the lounge of the Blue Angel, and he said they usually don't laugh very much at me, but he and his manager were in the act of deciding whether this was a good idea for him to be a performer. We both were saddened by the death of the great George S. Kaufman, who Groucho always referred to as his god. And we agreed to go to his funeral. Woody didn't go, but I did. Sat down in a side room. It was overflow. The great Moss Hart was doing the eulogy and saying, I can hear George in the casket behind me saying it needs cutting. And a classy character he was. And then I thought, Jesus, that is Groucho Marx, 4 feet from me, with a cigar, not lighted, and that fabulously intelligent face, and all looking. And
what year was this?
You know, I ain't sure, but it would be in the early '60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I followed him to the corner, and he left with 2 people, and. I mean, 2 people left him, Art Carney and somebody else.
Jeez.
And
man,
it was great. In the crowd out front of the funeral house when it broke up, you'd hear things like, "Hi, Groucho, I'm Edna Ferber," and I thought I'm a long way from Nebraska.
Yeah. Well, is that your only contact with Groucho, or did you?
No, I probably had 100 more contacts with Groucho, but I wrote for him for 2 weeks when he took over the Tonight Show for 2 weeks between Carson and Parr. And I was at his house a lot, and he wrote me a lot. One letter I found the other day, I don't know how I could handle it so carelessly. He said, I saw you on the Griffin Show and liked what I saw. I think you've hit a mother lode with the idea of the Rube in the Ivy League. I've started in my act, write stuff about I was from Nebraska, but I went to Yale, and they laughed at my shoes. And I didn't know him better than to wear brown and white shoes, and the white one kept getting dirty. It was one surefire laugh. I just proved now. Every time I saw him, I was afraid I was seeing him for the last time.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody remind me, I'm on the album, the Groucho album of Carnegie Hall, because I introduced him. And I had just begun being on television, and when I stepped up from the audience onto the Carnegie Hall stage, there was this fabulous, thunderous applause. And I started to step back thinking I've walked in on somebody's entrance.
Hey, you were with Jack Parr in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Walter Winchell back and forth that him and Parr had, where I think Winchell would badmouth Parr in the paper, and he was like arrogant, and apparently everybody was afraid of him, and Parr really gave him a good smashing.
Yes, Jack did. He had another one with Dorothy Kilgallen. If anyone in this room is old enough to remember What's My Line.
Ant.
He just...
I never...
Jack didn't...
Not first run.
Jack didn't get elaborate or mince words. He just said, "You have no chin." And but, yeah, Jack gave as good as he got, and certainly with Winchell.
And he won, right? Didn't he win? Like, Winchell, they said, was unbeatable, and everybody was afraid of him, going up against this monster in the press, and Parr just wasn't afraid of him and just really gave him a good beating, which I loved.
Yeah. I don't know how much that contributed to Winchell's decline. He fell in love with me somewhere. Called my apartment, I don't know how, and said, "Do you want to go to the Copa tonight?" The Copa, to see... Tony Bennett or somebody. It wasn't Tony. And I suddenly found myself out on the town with this scurrilous journalist, heavy supporter of red baiting and blacklist and all that stuff. But he had become a sad old man in a tuxedo that was, if it wasn't a little frayed, he made it look like it was by wearing it. He had a .38 in his belt and his cummerbund, and he used to spend all his nights following police calls.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Winchell?
Winchell would do. The police gave him a special radio, the real one, and he still had it, and it was quite sad. I'm so tempted to say, you're one of the most hated men the world has ever produced. Is that pleasant?
It's a little odd to be driving around listening to police calls.
And, oh, God, and one police place we went to, the scene of a crime or something, and a kid said to Winchell, "Oh, hey, oh, do it again, talk, say something." And Winchell did, and he was the voice of the untouchables on television. He wasn't seen.
Yeah.
But that... like his "Good evening, Mr. North American, all ship to sea, let's go to press," was, he was so tickled that a young person knew his voice when he had dominated the business at one point.
Yeah.
Almost as big as Arthur Godfrey.
Now, you obviously very involved in television in the 60s. And what do you think of what's out there today? Just a general picture, reality television journalism today.
Say again?
Things like reality television.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched any reality. I watched the first one and was satisfied. The first one, where the guy was walking around naked with...
Survivor.
The first Survivor?
Yeah, and I saw what it was like, and
because now it's just, every night there's 4 or 5 or 6 shows on that are just a group of, ordinary people doing stuff in certain situations.
Eating unsightly worms.
Fear
as
factor.
Opposed to the pretty little worms that we all eat. It doesn't interest me very much. I kind of see why some of them I kind of, gee, I may ought to catch that, but I usually don't. Television's largely junk, and it probably always will be, because look how much of it they have to fill.
It's just it's so hard to find clever writing anymore, or anything that takes any real talent or creativity out there, and
they still use laugh track or
yeah.
Where the laugh goes bah, bah, and then that's, Jeez. Groucho said that the laugh track was writing because you didn't have to be good anymore. The machine will always laugh.
They'll always laugh. You never get that feedback from a live audience.
Do you ever? This is one of the things I always find, like when audition. I get, like you said, there's so many channels to fill and stuff, but this whole obsession that there is now with likability, with comedian, it's just revolting that they are so obsessed with somebody being likable.
That's interesting. Yes, that is true. And if I never see, oh God, I'll clear the room with this. If I never see another stand-up comic, I won't feel the loss. So many are so good. So few have anything more than likability that they're peddling. And there's always one 350-pound black woman who makes fun of her morbid obesity. And if you stay tuned, there'll be a 355-pound white comic with that kind of obesity. I don't know how it works, where it looks like great bags of water. And at the risk of seeing one of those again, I pretty much don't watch.
Just write it off, yeah.
But it was a fun time when I was in the village and wondering who the little creepy-looking guy was with the spidery hands, and it was Bob Dylan going from club to club trying to get him.
Wow.
Get in somewhere for that night and play something.
He knew Bob Dylan before Bob Dylan made it. That's amazing to me. He was just It's amazing to me that you knew Bob Dylan walking around the village before anyone knew.
Yeah, several times I thought, I'm going to ask somebody who that is. You do see.
And he was just walking around trying to get on a stage somewhere in the village, right?
It seemed so, yeah. That's apparently what he was doing. Because he wasn't anyone anybody'd heard of.
Right.
Did you ever go into Cafe Fiend John in the village?
Which one is that?
It was just like a little cafe where musicians would play and like go up and play. And a guy named Manny, who then owned the Comedy Cellar, wouldn't let Bob Dylan on because he didn't think he had any talent. You know? And
today he's the head of the NBC.
Well, but Manny always loved it, you know, because he showed us in Dylan's biography. He mentioned that the only guy that wouldn't let him on was Menachem Dworman. He was just so happy, like, yeah, I fucked up.
He's the guy.
You're going to send him a little medal or something to commemorate the. No, I used to see the darndest people. Cosby would be at the bitter end. I would be at the bitter end. Once I survived dying unbearably my first night at the bitter end. Silence records. The record-breaking silence.
Oh.
And I sort of screwed it up myself. I was nervous, and I thought Jack Rollins and was Woody's manager and mine, a lot of people. Jack will be surprised at how good I'm going to be, because I was a magician in high school, and I've always worked with audiences, and I ad-libbed, and I could feel sweat damming up. It dammed up over my eyebrows, and ever so often it released a drop. And I thought, you can't reach up and wipe it off, it'll admit you're sweating. Oh, God. I have no idea how I got off that stage that night, but it was to the sound of my feet only.
How long into it did you know, I'm a dead man, this is not going to be recovered?
I swear my life flashed before my eyes a number of times.
Anyone tell you good job when you walked off, or couldn't even fake that?
Jack, being the classy man that he is, left about 5 minutes into my 8 minutes that I survived. And sort of waited outside. And he said, well, lad, you what we call fouled out tonight, but tomorrow night you be ready, you're going to go on at the Improv.
Yeah.
And I thought, Jack, look at this mess we have here, me and her. So, no, it's good. You'll be glad. You'll do better. I went on at the Improv the next night with the identical material, and can you see it coming?
Killed. I've seen that exact thing happen to Jim Norton as he goes around town.
Yeah. You bomb 5 minutes later on another set, you're doing great. Well, the worst is, though, when you have a great set, and then you go to the next club, and you just start dying like an animal.
And you know you're doing the exact same thing. The energy and the rhythm is right, and for some reason the audience is different. It's really strange.
Amazing.
Colin quoted some comedian. I don't remember who the comedian was, but the comedian said, never blame the audience, even though it's always their fault.
Yeah, that's good.
I wish I could.
That's profound.
Who was your favorite comic that you saw, or interviewed, or just in general? Who did you think was the best?
I always find it hard if I make the mistake of answering that question. I find later that I was wrong.
How about one that just?
But
really...
there's so many so different. I couldn't pick out a winner.
How about following? Was there one guy you hated to follow? Because a lot of guys say they hated following Pryor, like especially in the 70s in the Comedy Store.
Oh, well, if I'd had the chance to follow Pryor, I would have hated that, too, yeah.
Was Lenny working the Improv when you did it, Lenny Bruce, or Carlin? I know Carlin worked that.
No, they're a little older, but I did see Lenny Bruce at Carnegie Hall, and I saw him again in a concert at San Francisco. It said a concert, Lenny Bruce. And I didn't know what to say to him in the dressing room. He said he didn't know me, and I said, will you be doing other concerts? And he said, if my hands allow me.
Who is the? You've interviewed everybody. I mean, you're just legendary for having spoken to everybody who's somebody has spoken to you at one point.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Was there one that you remember that was just a really rough one, a
rough one,
like a bad interview?
The first time I had William F. Buckley on, he really scared me, and I had somebody tell me once when I was at Yale that you should go over and hear this guy who's lecturing tonight at the. He's the most dangerous man in America. So I went and saw Bill Buckley, and he was wonderful and entrancing and hypnotic and strange and intelligent and all kinds of things. In the middle of the clunky interview I was doing with him, I said, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that." And he said, "You don't seem to be familiar with anything."
Ooh.
Ooh. I've never understood why he would do that, to me or anybody.
Yeah.
It's the only time I've ever thought he was nasty, except when he tried to, when he called Gore Vidal a queer and threatened to, "I'll punch you in the face and you will stay plastered," is the exact wording of Buckley's tough talk.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
Well worded, but
quite worded. But I don't know what I did. I remember flashing into sweat, just and saying, "Oh, I'm familiar with everything."
Yeah, there's really no
you get defensive
to that one. Hey, Buster.
I went on to like him as much as anybody. He's my wife and I ran into him in the Caribbean and sported around, and he's really an excellent fellow, except for that one awful moment in his life when he decided to say to someone, wherever it was, "I don't seem to be familiar with anything."
You think he was being a creep, or was he just trying to be William F. Buckley for you? Like sometimes guys.
I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe I should have been prepared for that. Years later, he said on the show, as Oscar Wilde said, "Hypocrisy is the compliment that vice pays to virtue." You have to sit down with that for a little while.
Yeah, right. I'll write that one down for later.
Oh, but get this. I thought, that's not Oscar Wilde. I know it's not Oscar Wilde. I was reading a book of French witticisms that very weekend, as luck would have it. And I thought, that's La Rochefoucauld.
Of course, everyone knows that.
And I can't wait. And I couldn't bring myself to do it to him.
Oh, man, you could have.
So I got
totally
him back 3 weeks
him.
later and said, "Bill, you have people on your show and you like to keep a high standard of excellence and accuracy and so on. I wish you wouldn't come on this show and spread misinformation." He said, "What?" And I said, "You know, that line you dropped a while back, l'hypocrisie est l'hommage que le vice rend des vertus." I'm sorry, I forget how it goes in English.
I don't even understand it in English.
Well, he was shaken just a bit.
Good.
But we remained good friends. And he's written the last of his novels, of the spy novels.
We got a lot of feedback coming in, and this guy says you have to ask Dick Cavett about his garbage man growing up. Serial killer Charles.
Oh God, yeah.
Charles Starkweather.
Yeah, oh my God, that was your garbage man.
I hate
you know the
name,
name,
don't you?
Well, along with his girlfriend, killed 7 people. The Springsteen song "Nebraska" was about him, and his murders were fictionalized in Badlands and Natural Born Killers. Is this true?
You've got somebody on there who knows what he's talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Your garbage man was a serial killer.
I was in college when I saw headline Nebraska murder with 8-point type or whatever the big one is, and I couldn't believe it. In Lincoln, Nebraska, where I live, where my folks were, and I called home, and my father said, "Yeah, I knew this unfortunate character. He was our garbage man." My father was an English teacher, and he always befriended the dopes and the sort of forlorn types. And all. He said, "I just attract them like a magnet." And they loved him more than anyone they knew. And he used to talk with Starkweather because he said, "I thought the guy had something wrong with him, and he seemed to like to talk to me." And
perceptive.
Yeah. Good call.
Something wrong with him.
6 blocks away, he was perhaps at that point drawing a knife across the throat of a nice woman.
Wow.
And Carol Fugate, his girlfriend, got out, finally, about 2 years ago. claiming
Really?
they never proved that she was involved, and she always denied that she was involved in the killings.
Is he dead, Starkweather?
He is quite dead.
It was funny when you said, I hate name dropping.
That's quite...
Yeah, they dimmed the lights one night. Apparently that's a myth. The separate electric system. The lights don't dim like they did in the movies.
A lot more dramatic, though, when they do.
Mm-hmm. I like to think of it as...
Yeah.
I had a letter... I found going through some junk that I didn't know how old it was or what I had in it.
You must have a lot of junk.
I do, and I find good, interesting stuff in there sometimes. And here was a letter, and I looked at the return address, and it said Squeaky From.
Wow.
No, I tell a lie. Dudley Moore. I'll tell a lie. It was her real first name, Lynette Frome.
Yeah.
And it was a little note about how she enjoyed my work.
That's lovely.
Likewise. What are you going to say?
No, but it said something like, you don't seem like one of the enemy, or some compliment like that.
That's how you know you have a good collection throughout your career, when you're just stumbling upon notes from Squeaky From and Groucho.
Groucho, Squeaky.
Yeah,
that pretty much covers it.
I have signed photos of me with Black Sabbath that are in a frame. I know exactly where they are. He's stumbling. Stumbling on the greatest shit.
Squeaky From. That's what I was saying earlier too. Is very interesting about you is the you pretty much run the gamut of personalities that you've I don't know, lack of a better word, hung out with.
Uh-huh.
Like you there are people that fit into certain niches. Conservatives, liberals, the old hippie or construction worker. But for some reason you were able to really transcend that and kind of spark up relationships with all kinds of people.
I never consciously thought about it, but it certainly seems to be true. And one day I had Mark Gastineau on. Do you remember Mark Gastineau?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Jet?
He showed me what a quarterback sack was like. And I had just started studying Aikido, of the martial art Aikido. And I thought, I don't know if this will work. I don't know if I've been studying hard enough.
Mark's a big boy. You're going to test it on Mark Gastineau.
I was going to step away, and the genius of jiu-jitsu, someone's genius concept is when push-pull and when pull-push. A lot of that's true in Aikido. Aikido is a passive martial art in the sense that you don't attack with Aikido, you respond. So when he came at me with the sack, I was going to drop to the floor so he'd go over me and fall on his face. But I didn't have the nerve to do that, so I tried something else, and I said, "Are you fairly strong?" His head was here, and his shoulders there. I said, would you find it difficult to lift me? And he said, "Oh, no." I said, "Okay," grab me under the arms. He puts me up as if I were Joel Grey, and back down. And I said, I didn't have nerve quite to say what I might do, so I said, I'm going to seem heavier this time. And Gastineau says, "I'm going to tell the truth." And I said, "Yeah, that's right. We do, please, but let's go." And I said, "Okay, it's going to be difficult for you, but lift me." No way. Mark Gastineau could not get me off the floor. And I loved it, and the principle is still not entirely understood.
That was authentic. That actually happened.
Absolutely. Like, and he sat down scratching his head through the rest of the show. He
picked you up at first, and then on the second attempt, you did something to...
Did some kind of voodoo magic.
Make yourself heavier.
I'm not free to reveal it, but I can demonstrate it.
Defies
it's kind of dull for radio listeners. No, but I don't know what made me think of that, except what you're saying about various types.
Yeah.
Because the next day, I'd be out on the street and passing a construction site, and they'd say, "Hey, what was that shit with Gastineau? Oh, come on, let me try that." So I had to herniate several construction people.
You could have just walked away, Dick. Not like you have to.
But I didn't know that.
Pick you up.
Of all the tricks you pulled, you had to get the one that would make other men want to just grab you and lift you.
What can we learn from this?
Did you ever get nervous interviewing anyone? I mean, you've interviewed. We see all the names of all the people you've interviewed, a ton of rock icons, and you ever sit across from someone and go, "Oh my God, I hope they don't see me sweating this out"?
Nothing exactly leaps to mind. Usually, once I got out there, I was fine.
No anxiety going into it, like, I can't believe I'm going to talk to John Lennon or Yoko.
No, what I would... Yoko?
You talk...
I thought maybe you were talking from the DVD, because on there is a segment of talk. There's a whole show with George Harrison. The whole show is there.
Mm-hmm.
And about a minute into it, it just suddenly struck me that, and I said so, that a few days ago, Yoko Ono was sitting right there in that very chair. He leaped into the air, like a man putting himself out of the plane. And I assume she was amused by that.
No,
huh?
How was the Yoko interview? I find her a little annoying.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a separate interview with Yoko, but it was when John and Yoko were there, and then came back. I don't have any idea how many months later did a second show. But, Yoko was not considered a shabby artist even before she married Lennon. She had a kind of a good reputation in the art world. She does some ingenious stuff. When I met them, they were in bed.
You can't call that singing. She does ingenious stuff, though, right?
Oh.
The wailing.
You know what I wonder? I haven't seen all of the DVD, but I wonder if it includes Woman is the Nigger of the World.
Yeah.
Because on the first show I had them on, they wanted to sing Yoko's song, Woman is the Nigger of the World. And I think, and they did do it. They had the band there.
Wow, they let him do that, the network?
Well, afterwards, they decided this was unspeakable and unacceptable. This would have to go. And I said, more's going to go than the song, if that's true. Wasn't I brave? Actually, the guy wasn't in the room at the time. So we hassled over that. I said, I'll get the John Lennon on for you. How much better guest do you want? They sing a piece of their own work, and it doesn't condemn anybody. It's the opposite of the idea that a woman is treated as badly as part of our society, and nobody's going to die if they hear the word nigger in a lyric. They know whose side this singer is on. And so they said, okay. But Dick must read a statement before the song. And so you saw me saying, this song is kind of controversial, and so on, so on, so on. And, I'm sorry if it's going to offend anyone. And I taped this thing against my will. But it got the song on. And the protest poured in, saying things like, why did you make Dick Cavett do that mealy-mouthed announcement before the song? Nobody complained about what they were afraid of.
You know, it would have been great if you said, look, if you read that thing, you said, look, this is the disclaimer, and you read it, and you go, look, this is what I have to read, and then you introduced her as the chink.
Oh, God. Well, that reminds me of an incident. I don't remember it very well. One of Warhol's ladies told a story about being on a plane back from Europe, and the entire Japanese business apparently got aboard this plane. I'm making it shorter. And she said, and I just thought, oh, my God, I don't want to die like this, surrounded by chinks. And I wanted to say, well, first of all, Japanese aren't chinks. They're nips or jacks.
Right.
And, boy, I think they cut that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I didn't much care in that case.
Did you know John Lennon personally? Did you ever get to hang out with him?
Yeah, I spent a good bit of time with them up in their suite while it was raining outside when I first met them, and then I put in some hours downtown trying to keep him from being deported by the Nixon administration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you supposed to use real names here? But the Nixonites, or Richard Nixon's constituents, or the great unindicted co-conspirators constituents, were really eager to get Lennon out of the country, and they thought he would start a riot or something that would overturn the government, and that he would be able to sway vast numbers of people to something the government was afraid might happen.
Well, he was more popular than God, so.
Well, they were right. I mean, he could have if he'd had a malevolent.
There was a huge.
I mean, how would you recover from losing the Nixon administration? There'd be a lot of empty jail cells. I had several ones on who went to jail, including John Mitchell, the Attorney General.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I'm so sorry for anybody who missed Watergate. Because every day you couldn't wait to get up and turn on the radio, turn on the TV, see the paper, who's been fired now, what are they going to...
It was very surprising on a daily basis.
Yeah, and to have a disgraceful criminal as president is not a pleasant thing, is it?
Well, scandal wasn't as popular then, or as common in politics, right? Because of the way the media was. So that, I mean, back when Watergate happened, it was...
There was this just underlying trust you had of the people that were in charge. And if not for their policies, you did for the office itself and for the man that was taking that office. And I think now you just assume that behind the scenes they've got to be screwing something up. So back then, though, it was a huge surprise.
It was amazing.
Have a crook.
But did you hear me trying to talk politics with Dick Cavett and sounding like an ass that I am? He's talking about Watergate, and I go, yeah, but back then, you know. I just sat around. What a dope I am.
I do apologize.
No, you were informed. I had nothing. I just realized I just put ... at the end of my sentence and let it hang there.
You're too modest.
Where do you get your news? There's so many places, the internet, TV, papers.
I've been wanting to ask friends that thing, people that work at Time or somewhere. How much do you feel you need to read every week? Do you read The Economist and Foreign Affairs and The Times and The Washington Post or The L.A. Times and The Nation magazine and The Republic? And somehow I got the feeling that because things are current, they're important.
Yeah,
and
like you have
suddenly
to know
realize
about
they're
them.
Not.
Like you have to know everything that's happening.
It's going on, and I might not know of it.
Well,
thing.
There certainly was a time where it was just the guy, the desk, and the clock at certain hours of the day, and that's where you got your news. Now it's just 24 hours a day, wherever you want, with different spins on it, depending on which network you're watching, and it's
fill the hours.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's kind of hard to get just news without some kind of slant to it one way or another. And
well, hearing you say this, I just realized why on the news channels they waste God knows how many hours a day saying, "Hello, Don. How are you?" "I'm fine, Bill." Talk to the correspondent, say hello, and they have to say back, and somebody actually will say, "How are you?" Half of Larry King's callers say, "How are you?"
Yeah.
And say, "Shut up and get to the question."
If you add all that up, it covers a few hours.
How many hours that would be? Adding in, thanks for your insights.
Hey, you ever listen to Bob Grant here in New York?
I did. I was on Bob Grant's show one time.
So you know, Bob Grant people would go, "Bob, how are you?" Finally he would just go, "I'm fine." He hated it, and that's exactly why. It was just a waste of time.
You care.
Yeah. And on a show where it's getting down to the last of the show, and everything you want to hear everything everyone say, and they say, "Hi, Larry, love your show." Yeah, you got a lot of fans here in Hartford, and you can see him want to shoot them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Starkweather when you need them.
Right. But I'm taking your call. Thank you for taking my call. It didn't have anything to do with the call. I didn't know who you are. A button was pushed probably automatically, and you came on.
But you have to know. You have to be in touch with current events. What do you do? Do you watch a lot of TV news or?
No, I'm weaning my way away from TV news because. You do start realizing that I've heard this story now 4 times today, and no different. Nothing is added.
Well, Fox News makes it a little different.
Oh well,
they're alert. They have a fun spin on everything.
We do a lot of we replay a lot of the news teases that happen in our area and throughout the country. Actually, people send them in because we love when they sensationalize things on the news and just pound it into your head like there's imminent danger. Oh, the car you're driving could be unsafe for your children. We'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
And then you get to the story, and it's really nothing.
How to Save Your Life tonight at 11.
Tonight at 11, the food you're eating right now could be deadly.
Mm-hmm.
What? But I got to eat dinner before 11. What are you doing to me here?
Television is amazingly limited. There isn't much that goes well on television, and certainly they haven't solved the news problem yet. And radio news was, as with everything on radio, hit you deeper than watching a confusing picture. And then that thing the news channel do, somebody is talking interestingly and filling the screen. They then suddenly drop him to 1/16 of the screen up in the corner, and we say the same damn Al-Qaeda soldiers doing the hand walk across that thing because someone mentioned Iraq.
Right.
And you want to say, what am I supposed to watch? The bloody ribbon, the person you reduced to a postage stamp up in the corner, or the exciting news films that are 20 years old by now?
Yeah, it just seems that there's no real credibility anymore in news. There's no Cronkite that you're going to tune in, and he's got that respectability and the credibility. Now you're watching a fashion show, or you're watching the better graphics, and who would sit there anymore and watch that old wooden desk with the ticking clock behind him? Now it's all about the flash, and I think it's very hard for the average American to get news that's accurate these days.
Yeah, and people who talk in their own words. Whose words are they going to talk in? They're going to read to you? And I honestly got the great Tom Brokaw, how he allowed himself to say with a straight face almost every night, now in depth, the such and such story. 84 seconds later, the in-depth story was over. and you went back to in shallow. Now, Brokaw's much too smart for that.
Oh, man.
There's a piece here in your where they have the sheet on you, and it said you were sued in '77 for not showing up for a radio show for a manic depressive episode. That's something you still kind of deal with? Because I kind of go through I don't know if it's manic, but bouts of just complete misery.
Oh yeah, I did for I think the third time a Larry King with Bob Costas hosting it not many weeks ago. No matter how many times you do talk about depression, people say to you in later months and years, you saved my life. Now, when you hear that, you feel like maybe you've done something good. Or my dad thought, if you could get this, maybe it's all right that he could. We were never able to get him to a doctor until we saw you on Sally Jesse or Larry's show or something like that. It's it's probably rivaling obesity as epidemic proportions of how many people have it. And thank God we have people like Tom Cruise, who in their infinite wisdom will in effect go on television and tell people not to take their medicine. That Scientology is a better authority.
Get rid of those thetans.
Well, if I looked like Tom Cruise and was banging the girls he banged, I would be smiling all the time, too.
Right.
Look like me and be happy.
How could you ever stop? But it must be interesting. It's got to be interesting for a guy to be that successful and that rich and that dumb.
Yeah.
It's so strange. And people whom he would sneer at, but professionals have said he seems like a man in some trouble.
Yeah.
Did you see Lewis Black on Cruise?
Oh, what, on the Daily Show?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
He said, Cruise said that there is no such thing as chemical imbalance. Well, then what the hell is this thing that's happening to you right now? Oh, I love Black.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of people are coming up with this. Ask Cavett about the guy who died while he was interviewing him. It was some gardener guy, and he thought he put him to sleep when he actually died while being interviewed.
Wow.
Is this true?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
A lot of people calling in with that one.
Oh, there's no one.
Yeah, a guy died on the show. And when I bring this up, because
You were actually interviewing a guy and he died in front of you.
A moment later, I wasn't actually speaking to him at the moment. But when I tell this at a college or somewhere and say what I'm going to talk about, what about the guy who died on your show? I said it's obviously not a funny subject, but you will be laughing approximately 2.5 minutes into this. And they are, because among the odd facts of it is, of all the people in all the world who would die on a television show, who could be better than a publisher of Prevention magazine and many, many other publications, the Rodale Press, who, by the way, have just came out with. Let's see. Oh wait, was it Rodale? Maybe I should check my facts on this. Yeah, let me take a caesura here. That's a word I picked up on 20 Days to a Powerful Vocabulary. The guy came on, and he was very funny. He'd been on the cover of the New York Times Magazine that week. He looked like Trotsky, if you're up on your Russians. And he had the little beard. He was very amusing. And I made a mental note to have him back. That's laugh one. When his half hour finished and we got to the 12:30 turnaround, and I brought Pete Hamill, the journalist, out. And while Pete was talking to me and Mr. Rodale was sitting one down, he went, Rodale. Now, you know, if Joey Bishop and Buddy Hackett were on a show together, often one of them would pretend to snore while the other one's talking and get a laugh. And people laughed at his snoring.
Oh, my.
Yeah. I didn't. I thought, this guy's dead. And next thing I knew, I was on my feet standing in front of him and holding his wrist. But there was no time in between. It was like a dream sequence. And I thought, I don't know what the hell a wrist is supposed to show you. But I thought, I'm the captain of the ship. I'm supposed to do something. I said, is there a doctor in the audience? Years later, when Katharine Hepburn I first met her, and she said, before anything else, I want to hear about the man who died on your show. And when I got to that point I said I hesitated and said in the audience, and she said, because you knew is there a doctor in the house would get a laugh. And of course it would have.
Of course.
Yeah, she was shrewd, that woman. Next thing I remember is they've got his shirt ripped up, showing the chest, you know, and the terrific pounding that an intern from the fire department had, and there were one or two nurses in the audience, and they came up, and another guy. No actual doctor, but he was clearly he had joined the silent majority by the time he hit the floor.
Wow!
Hold on to the floor. By the way, the silent majority. Thanks to Gore Vidal for this. It was a phrase that was huge in America some years ago.
Yeah.
It actually comes from Herodotus, and it means the dead.
Really?
And Gore said, it's nice to know that the Republicans know who their constituency is.
The great silent
or that
majority.
The Nixon administration. Yeah.
And please tell me that after that guy died on the show, please tell me you had a comic scheduled.
We couldn't have two deaths in a row. Oh God! It was quite awful. And
sure.
Was this on live TV?
Because you're out. No, it was never aired.
So it never aired. Okay.
But it might be someday under certain circumstances, which I was talking to somebody about. But there we were with our makeup on and our band over here and our lights and to show us up good to the people sitting in the audience. And a dead man is in the middle of all this. I remember two stewardesses in red uniforms who had been winking at me in the front row.
Nice.
And I suddenly looked down and they're both crying. And the audience didn't understand all at once the situation. It sort of moved backwards slowly until as if people were saying, do you suppose he's dead? And this is many thought it was part of the show and that it was going to blow it off some way.
That is wild.
I had 5 or 6 objects in my pants pocket, none of which were mine. And somebody had handed them to me, his watch and pocket watch. And dentine gum, oddities like that. I don't remember ever seeing them or having them handed to me. And we checked, and he was DOA at Roosevelt Hospital. Wow. But Hamill, sitting there, when Rodale snorted, turns to me and, forgetting that you can't really whisper something on live on television with a camera there, and your face in close-up, goes, I think this looks bad. And that was before we knew the worst. But only seconds before. Hamill got a great column the next day. It was just... That was an odd thing about it. I mean, in the crowd of people concerned, pushing, what do we do? Somebody running out with an oxygen machine that had 2 parts and they didn't know how to fit them together. All of that going on. And in the middle is Hamill writing notes. A born newsman.
Yeah.
And I may be missing the point, but the hottest part of the story to me is those 2 crying stewardesses.
Well, I just made them up for you.
Well, Dick, you're on to a new project. It's called Rock Icons. The DVD comes out today, I guess. 3-disc
I guess
DVD
it does
set.
today. I get to go over to Borders at 6, I guess.
Which Borders?
The one in Columbus Circle.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And when my second book came out, another young writer named C.D.B. Bryan and I went to the Yale Co-op, because we'd both gone there, to do a signing. 4 people showed up. Count them. 4. The publisher had screwed up, which is the publishing world's greatest talent.
We've been in that position a
Calvin
few times.
Trillin, Bud Trillin, or Calvin Trillin, wants to write a book called An Anthology of Authors' Atrocity Stories about publishers.
Wait, when was this that 4 people showed up?
To a book signing at the Yale Co-op. Here's Dick and this other guy, C.D.B. Bryan, writer, and they're both from Yale, and sat us down and waited for the hordes to arrive. Actually, it was
in that position, you just write your name really slowly, hoping more people show up.
And you should have been here when the crowd was here.
You have a 10-minute conversation with each person, hoping the line builds.
I think it was 3 people and a cleaning lady.
Oh my God!
You talk to people after you sign for them. Like, so where are you going?
Here, I'll give you another one.
Anthony and I have been in a position where thousands of people show up, and then we've also had the handful, and you start like stretching things out. You have 10-minute conversations with each person. And
you propose marriage.
Whatever it takes to make it look like it's more than it really is.
Say, will this cause any trouble if I tell you that I went to see a thing on my... you type your own name in eBay, and up comes about 15 things in cassettes and so on.
Yeah.
And Dick Cavett, autograph, rare. And I thought, I'll turn to it and see what it looks like.
Oh, boy, here we go.
It was no more my autograph than it was Helen Keller's. And certificate of authenticity.
We just did this bit on our show.
Did you really?
We just had somebody bring in presents for us.
Uh-huh.
And this guy brought me a picture of Jack Nicholson from The Shining, signed.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wow, that's great. He goes, there's a certificate of authenticity behind the picture in the frame. So I took the picture out and looked, and it was something you can print off of computer at home, and it wasn't signed or no stamp, nothing. And then I went online and started looking on eBay at Jack Nicholson autographs, and they're so different, each one of them, to the point where I didn't know what a real Jack Nicholson...
Well, Jack's a very changeable guy, and when he's in one mood, the autograph looks one way. And
probably. But I'll tell you, I really lost faith that it was authentic.
You got to be careful. Like, I bought... Recently, I actually had a really weird thing. Babe Ruth signed one of Jeter's rookie cards, and I bought that, and that's a really tough find.
Good God. Oh, I hate to break it to you, but I have one.
I've seen those in the store. Like, you walk in the store, and they have, like, Babe Ruth, but it's in, like, that newer blue marker in Vegas.
Know.
It's like, who's buying this shit?
There was one at Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and it had 3 baseball players of widely different times and ages, all done in the same flare pen.
Who's believing that?
I guess there are people dumb enough.
Yeah, there are people.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the eBay thing alone, when you look at that, people are buying the autographs off eBay, and there's no way to verify that.
Well, we're on eBay right now, and under Dick Cavitt's name, there's some great stuff. An old Playboy that you were in, 1971, is selling for $1.95.
I bet that's a very hairy issue.
It is sort of. A lot of people were appalled that I said certain naughty things.
Really?
And it just goes on and on.
I think until Jimmy Carter was in Playboy, it was kind of dirty to be in Playboy.
Oh, yeah.
And then once Jimmy Carter kind of opened
he confessed to lusting in his soul.
Yes.
I'm looking for a Dick Cavett autograph.
Is there a lot of Jimi Hendrix?
A lot of Jimi Hendrix,
yeah. He's not on this particular thing we're talking about now, the DVD, because...
The Rock Icons DVD?
In alliance with the Hendrix family, brought out one already that was... I think it's in DVD, but it's all over my website. As my own book, Cavett, $8.95, Harkett Brace Jovanovich, a book which one comic after another has said saved his life.
Really?
Yeah. They'll say I was out, I was totally unknown. I played a club in Waukegan, Illinois, and there was never a sound from the audience. You might not as well have been on the stage, and I was suicidal and had another 8 days to go through the same thing again. And I found the part in your book about being stuck in Detroit as a comic in a club called, my God, I never thought that the mind would erase the name of it from, like Freud, I'll put it out of my mind and then it'll come back in. Front row, almost touching your knees, would be a big lug with his back to you, eating lobster with both hands, and his wife, similar. And once in a while, they'd take a glance at you and dismiss you as not anything they were interested in. God. And the worst part was you could see yourself. Did you ever have that? Mirrored wall?
Oh, yeah.
That's just death. That's because brutal. Don't look at it, and yet you can't stop and change your posture and all.
You keep being afraid you're not going to see your own reflection like some kind of a vampire. Like, geez, I'm really not here.
One night in San Francisco, I had the silence, the real silence. And Alan Woody had written me a letter about 3 weeks before saying, a fast note to explode the myth of the hungry eye, the great club and atmosphere and so on that nourished Mort Saul and Nichols and May and so on is long gone. So that encouraged me to go to San Francisco. Rollins had booked me there, and this night it was... You ached from the silence.
Really?
And you'd go, at least I got my Chinese German food joke. That always kills them. Nothing. Chinese German food. An hour later, you're hungry for power. Nothing. And then I heard myself say, oh, bless you. I wish I'd had that.
We do that when someone has a joke that bombs on the show. We do a whole thing here.
But that's painful. Yeah. Were you in Detroit that week I was playing?
Bless you. I wish I'd had that.
The Four Seasons? No, the Four something. Oh, God. Anyway, there was a long pause, and I heard myself say, why don't you all just get the hell out of here?
Now that is going badly.
Yeah. And that was shocking. That didn't get a laugh. And then two, what Lenny Bruce used to call diesel dykes, were in the front row with their boots on the stage. And I was going to kick them off. But I thought better to say, why don't you all get the hell out of here? With this, the two diesel dykes got up and went to, they both looked like Clint Eastwood. It was kind of an interesting pair. And they both got to the door, and I said to one of them who was looking back, there are no refunds. And she said, we'll take a chance. And she got a laugh. All those people who were incapable of laughter and had it left out of them by nature laughed
you trudged
for
on.
her. And I had a tape of that show. I don't know if I do anymore. It's reel to reel. And you can hear my steps leaving the stage.
You should release that
I know. I really, if I could, goddamn, you're right.
There's nothing, because to me as a comic, like, hear comics, I don't ever want to hear about a comedian having a great show. I could listen to death stories all day.
Yeah, it's human.
Something fascinating.
Well, even if it
about
isn't, it's the same with me.
All right, Dick, this was awesome. You got to come back on our show because we just touched the surface. I mean, I want to, hear you talk about Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and all that.
To give time for a quick Joplin.
Yes, sure. Quick Janis Joplin.
I would love Janis, and I think she was on 4 times. And I notice on this, because you get all of her appearances on here that are still in existence. At one point, I don't know why, I said, did I read somewhere where you got a tattoo somewhere near Baltimore? She said, honey, it's a lot closer to home than that. That shows a very complex comic mind. Raquel and my dear friend Janice and my dear friend Raquel Welch were on one show together along with Brinkley of Huntley and Brinkley. Huntley of Huntley and Brinkley. And Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Perfect combination of people.
Really?
Jesus, you have great friends. I hang out with these zeros.
Oh, God.
All right.
But, oh, God, no, wait a minute. I've dislodged my story from my own brain.
Raquel Welch.
Oh, yeah, there was something about Virgin something. I actually wasn't listening very closely and was immediately snapped awake by Raquel saying, well, I think Janice would be perfect casting for the Virgin. And this got a kind of, there's going to be trouble. But Janice just said, ain't that good an actress, honey. This was perfect at that moment. Here's something that'll strike you as virtually without humor. I said to the great, majestic, august figure of Chet Huntley, who loved Raquel Welch and announced it on the show. And I said, this needs a footnote. You can't leave because there'll be nobody left in the country saying goodnight, David, except Julie Nixon. Now, would you believe that that got the opposite of what happened just now? It was... No, I'm telling you. Watch the show, you'll see.
Dick, why don't you get the hell out of here?
Well, I don't mind if I do.
It's the Dick Cavett Show, The Rock Icons. It's a 3-DVD set, and you're going to be signing copies of this at Borders in Columbus Circle sometime today?
I go over there at 6 and get my body makeup on.
A lot of great performances from Janis Joplin, Bowie, George Harrison, Sly and the Family Stone, Stevie Wonder, and many, many more. You got to come back and tell more stories, Dick.
Yeah, I got a few more.
We're happy you came. We thought you didn't come last week. We were worried, Tavis not going to show up. You kind of canceled us. We're very happy you came.
Yeah, what did I need with it?
Show.
We're happy you came.
No, thought you were on to us.
All right.
On to our potty mouth show.
You guys, let's thank Dick Cavett for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dick.
You're welcome anytime if you'd like to come back to this mess.
I can stay now for a couple hours.
If you want. I mean, we just got to get a Supercross guy in that's doing has a movie out, and we got Mark Maron, who's a very talented radio guy.
Screw him.
He's a lefty. He's a lefty. Big-time lefty.
Is that good?
I don't know. You tell me.
Lefty.
I come from the time when they tied children's arms behind their backs who were left-handed.
I think he means as opposed to right.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah.
He knows.
Let me explain a joke to Cavett.
I'm explaining to Dick Cavett.
He's too smart for us. We're going to take a break, and we'll continue. Dick Cavett might be
I like a
joining
nice
us,
joke once I know about it.
or he might be stepping out. We don't even know at this point. Dick Cavett, everyone.
Opie really doesn't care about our lives. And I hate you all. Oh! And I hate you all. Oh! And I hate you all. Oh! And I hate you all.
Oh! You gotta help me! Look, Jerky, I don't need to talk to you.
All right, kids, hold on your hats. 1, 2, 3. Show blows monkey ass. Show blows. Show blows monkey ass. Monkey ass.
Detective John Kimball.
you tool.
I knew this was a scam.
Unbelievable. I can't go on.
Opie and Anthony.
Come on, it's not funny anymore.
Make it stop.
Make it stop.
The Opie and Anthony Show.
XM 202.
Calling all freaks.
Oh, that was interesting, huh?
Hotel Supercar.
I guess we'll explain in a second here. We're back with the Opie and Anthony program on XM Satellite Radio. Want to first of all thank Dick Cavett for stopping on by. We found him very, very interesting.
As a legend.
It's really weird with this show because you do something a little different. Because people expect a certain thing from the Opie and Anthony program, so then you go in a different direction, which we like to do. And you get people going, oh, my God, that was such a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed the segment. It shows that you guys can go in different directions. And then you got a bunch of asses. Well, first of all, the feedback went crazy, and it was like 50-50. Half of the people loved the Dick Cavett thing. Absolutely loved it. And then the next post is like, dude, what do we do to you guys? You're putting us to sleep.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
It's unbelievable.
And then there's people that just love it.
You can't satisfy everyone at the same time. That's what's frustrating when you do a radio show.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm reading the instant feedback.
Half the out there? I don't want to hear this.
Oh, it's fine. Half the people absolutely love Dick Cavett on our show. Thought it was very interesting. It showed a different angle and a different direction that we could take this show in. And then there's a whole bunch of people saying, hey, what do we do to you guys? You're putting us to sleep.
Yeah, and then you get I love the shock jock stuff, but this Dick Cavett interview has been hilarious.
Bottom line is you get a guy like that, a legend who's willing to come in and sit with you. It's like it's great to have him in here. I mean, what do you want?
Lot.
Just dick jokes all day? I mean, it was nice to have him in here, man. The guy's done.
Interviewed
Hendrix.
I actually had to call, my station. He's on my show tomorrow, and I had them cancel everything else. So we're going to do 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah. No, not really.
With that, it's Mark Maron, everyone.
Dope I am. I'm like, oh, well,
really?
Good fella.
He does a show for Air America, right? Mornings?
I am on Mornings Edition on Air America Radio. I'm also a stand-up comedian, along with Jim Norton.
Yes.
I saw you at the club the other night, right?
He loves to discuss politics with anyone and everyone at the table, waiting to go on stage at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah. I get in fights with some people, but that was weird to see Cavett because, he's got that look. My father is manic depressive, which is very exciting half the time. And he got that look. The other half not so exciting. People don't understand depression, but I'll tell you, manic depression, you don't know what it's like to live with a manic. The thrill of the delusional phone call at 3 in the morning with the big plans. My father will call me up 3 in the morning, just be like, Marky, wake up. Listen, I got an idea. We're going to open a fucking theme park. What do you think? Like Disneyland, only bigger than Disneyland. It's going to be Marin World. It's going to be great. I just called to see if it would work there if I open it. Would you work there? I'm like, all right, Dad. Can I run the bipolar coaster? I'll tell you what. Call me when you're crying. Don't kill yourself. I love you. Is that sad? It's sad, right?
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's accurate.
Yeah,
it's very accurate.
It's weird because he's talking about depression. I talk about it a lot lately because, a lot of people think it's genetic and a lot of people think they're depressed and not depressed. And I'm not like a Tom Cruise. I'm not a Scientologist, so I'm afraid of Scientologists. It's weird because I read about politics. You read anything. I mean, I'll read anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I walk through Times Square. If I go into the trade station, I see those Scientologists. I will not go near the book Dianetics. I won't go near it. Not even to just go, what are these guys all about? Because I don't know how grounded I am. What page does it happen on?
Right.
How the hell do you trust yourself that much that you're just going to be like page 6? Like, oh, I don't care about my family. They're the ones that broke me. When's the mothership coming? When does it happen?
You're stronger than everyone in Scientology.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the one that it's not going to affect.
Yeah, the next thing you know, you're sitting there holding cans out to people, going, "You want to take a stress test?" But the depression.
How are your thetans?
Yeah, exactly. They're in me.
You got to get rid of them.
Mark, do you do the cell phone joke?
I do.
Do you mind doing it?
Hold on.
No, I'll explain why. No, I know I'll explain why.
No.
I go to the Comedy Cellar a lot, and yes, I was there recently and saw you, and you absolutely killed. And I was so excited about that joke and a couple others I heard that night. I came right on the show, and I kind of try to explain it to these guys. And I always do other people's material horribly. I don't give it justice, and now I feel like I have to have you do the joke to save face a little bit.
I keep adding on this.
And we don't usually ask comedians to do their jokes, by the way. This is very rare.
Right. That's okay.
But it was just one of those things. I brought it to the table, and I was so excited to tell it to the guys, and they looked at me like,
well, it's like
don't ever get on stage, dude.
Well, it's weird because now that I'm on the other side of it, because I'm hosting my own show and I have comics on.
Yeah.
I
really
know,
try not to do that.
But
ever.
I know what it feels like to be on both sides of this thing. And there's a couple of things I noticed, because there's certain guys, like we do these live remotes now, and when I've actually started setting up a mic separate from sitting down if I have a comic on, because he'll be like, well, should I sit down or should I not sit down? I'm like, oh, maybe I should stand up and I'll do the interview from there, because they can't help themselves.
Right.
Like they may not want to do material.
Right.
Oh, listen, I'm talking about us like I'm a fucking different person. Anyways,
you're part of us today.
What I'm getting to is, no, I'm not going to do the phone bit. I appreciate it. No, I'm kidding.
It's okay. I don't blame you if you don't want to.
What do you? I mean, you know what I mean?
Well,
anyway,
it's weird because we'll have comedians in, and they'll remain nameless, but they just say, "Hey, how are you?" And all of a sudden they do 15 minutes of their material, like.
Yeah.
What?
What just happened? Can we talk?
Because if you're a funny guy, our philosophy is if you're funny in general, then come in and hang and just be funny and you know, jump in when you can. But some of these guys feel like it doesn't matter what show they're on, they just have to get their 15 minutes of material out.
Well, in defense of some comics, they're incapable of conversation. Yep. And they don't, sometimes they're socially, that's why they're comics, is that, you sit them down, and they're la 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 la, thank you, see you later.
Yeah,
hope I sold some tickets. But
well, that's what I notice when I go to the cellar, and I won't call anyone out again, but I go down there a lot, and I see the same guys doing the exact same material, making it sound like it's off the cuff. And so
well, it's part of the job, but some guys do it differently. It's weird because Todd Berry comes on my show, and I did what you did. I said, hey, you know that, why don't you do that one about, he just looks at me and goes, ouch, buddy. Hey, you're not trying to lead me into one of my own bits, are you?
Todd's a funny dude, man. We want to. I think
very
his
funny.
name come up in the office here. It'd be great to have
him.
him.
We'll get him on.
He's very
funny little man.
He's very funny. All right, so basically the idea, the cell phone piece. The cell phone piece.
I know. I'm doing this.
Is I can't not have my cell phone. If I leave my house, I have my cell phone. I go into some sort of lack of cellular-induced anxiety disorder. You ever have that moment where you're like, wait a minute, fuck, the satellite doesn't know where I am. What if someone I don't need to talk to needs to get hold of me? They can't. I'm just an unidentified human object floating freely on the global information grid with no beacon, no point of reference. I am meaningless on a cosmic level without my cell phone. I get a good deal on mine. It's only $900 a month. Why do people laugh at that? Well, what is it? 100 a month, or you go 3 calls over to 300 a call? I don't know. I don't understand my bill. There are 50 pages, 6 columns of numbers. By page 4, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I have to masturbate to get through the bill because that's what I do when I get uncomfortable and stressed out. I masturbate. It has nothing to do with numbers. But my phone has Bach, Beethoven, Wagner on it. Little snippets of classical genius being heard the way they were meant to be heard on a small handheld communications device, hundreds of years after the death of the composer. Have we no respect for genius? Beethoven wrote symphonies to be heard in symphony halls. What do we do with it? Beep, 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 boo. Hey, it's Beethoven. I wonder if he wrote any other songs. And do you think Beethoven had any inkling in even the darkest recesses of his unconscious when he was deaf and sweating over his 5th symphony that one day would emit from some idiot's pocket, and the response would be, fuck, it's my mom. And isn't that wrong, or am I reading too much into it? I'm not comfortable, I'm not comfortable with technology in general. This is my other fear about the phones, is I don't update mine. Look at this, antique, because, I'm an asshole. I just use it to call people. I don't take pictures with it. Do you remember there was a time where you actually remembered your friends' numbers? What a dark period that must have been. Now, if someone asks me my number, I'm like, fuck, I don't know, let me check. If you have a BlackBerry and a cell phone and they're in the same bag and you lose it, you're 2 hours away from digging through garbage cans going, what's my name? Where do I live? But I don't update my technology, and it makes me nervous because I know at some point, I don't even know what this one does. You get the little guidebook, you figure out what you need to do with it. But I'm sure at some point someone's going to come by me like hovering 2 feet off the ground, like flying, literally. And I go, what the fuck is that? And they're just going to go, I don't know, my cell phone does it. Fuck, what does mine do it? I got to get a new cell phone. So there you go. That's the bulk of it.
Very nice, man. Thank you for doing that for us, sir.
That's no problem, man. It's fun to be able to talk freely and to be able to be on a radio show, and because I came on here, I'm coming over here, And, you know, I've listened to your show a couple times, and I got to be honest with you, you're in one of the most respectful buildings I've ever seen in my life. I'm coming up to do the Opie and Anthony show. There's like a marble toilet here, and you're in
the Economist building.
It's unbelievable.
We're still trying to get used to
Steinway
this.
downstairs.
Yeah, we're right above Steinway. That's a little
Oh,
strange.
by the way, and we brought up the Sugar Hill Gang the other day. I told you about Wonder Mike. It was on Mark's show that I did with him. I told you I did a TV show with Wonder Mike. Never mind the Buzzcocks.
Oh my God,
the Buzzcocks.
What
Yeah,
about that time? You remember that time, that dark, weird time of my life? Oh my God, doing that show. Dude, look at me. You know what I do. You know my point of view. How bad was I hurting to do a fucking game show? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, at what point, you know, it's weird. You go through these periods in your life where you're like, what the fuck am I going to do, man? I'm fucking $15,000 in debt. Where am I going to go? Someone calls up and goes, we're going to do a game show. There's no money involved and there's improv. And I'm like,
shit.
All right. Do the game show. It was completely unsuccessful. They thought it was because of the promotion, but honestly, I was so unhappy inside that I think that came through. I don't think I sold the game show quite right. Did you? How did you feel about it?
I did it once. I had a good time. I mean, I was on with Coolio and Terry Nunn, and Wonder Mike did something. I don't remember what it was. I enjoyed it. I mean, I was happy you had me on. I wasn't doing a lot of TV a couple of years ago.
Okay, let me put it a different way. You just did it once. Yeah. I did like 14 of them. Maybe I'm being too negative, but I'll tell you something. That's what I was going to get to about depression is that I think a lot of you out there are probably taking medicine you don't need to be on. Here's why. The only difference in a lot of cases between disappointment and depression is your level of commitment to people. So just remember that. If it was like, I just want to be happy, you can't be happy all the time. That doesn't look different than retardation, really. And, you know, except without the frustration of not being able to fuck. But nonetheless, am I saying it too much?
You're allowed to say
No, you're great.
No, say whatever you want.
As much as you want.
It's so weird. It's like I feel like it's been building up.
We're doing a lot of
Yeah,
listening
it's been
today.
building up.
We like when we get to just sit back and listen.
All right, I'm sorry. Well, let's have a
And let other
conversation.
people. And let other people do the heavy lifting.
Regular radio's rough these days.
Oh, what I was going to say is I was
Yeah.
whining because like I thought I was going to come over here and start blowing off some steam about just about like the stuff that I don't talk about on my show. You know, like regular stuff. You know, like Jim Norton stuff, like the you know the classic sort of the crisis of life, the perpetual masturbatory cycles of life. And here I am doing it.
Dude, I'm in a horrible depression because
Why?
I had my dining room painted the wrong color. It's amazing what
Is
that
this a
will
Jim
do.
Norton problem?
That's his
one
problem. Of many.
It's a Jim Norton problem.
Oh, dude.
He comes in every morning with a new problem.
It used to be his hookers had a cock, and now it's his paint on
Now
his
it's a problem if they don't. Give me those ribs. But it's fucking driving me. It's driving me nuts. Dude.
That's
It's driving me
hilarious.
Fucking crazy.
What, did you notice it when you're like, banging someone on the table?
No, I knew it was done
Like,
yesterday.
This is the right color?
Yeah, I knew it yesterday when she was doing it, and I was just, whatever. It's like little shit like that throws you into depression.
Hey, I got to back up just a little bit. Supercross guy blew us off. Not blew us off.
No,
but
he didn't want to wait any longer.
You got mad? What is Supercross?
Well,
Am I missing
Tyler
something?
Evans is
Motocross?
the star of Supercross. Yeah, we were getting back from break.
I'm not a sports guy.
Dick Cavett was interesting, so we went long with the guy, and then we were going to come back from break and throw Mark in that seat and Supercross guy in that seat and then see what happens, right? And just as we're coming back from break, some hot chick just pokes her head in the door and goes, "Thank you, thank you,"
and left.
With
this attitude and walks out.
What did she expect? You expect us to fucking boot Dick Cavett out so a guy who rides a bike can come in and chit-chat?
Well, I'll get to
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'll get to the bottom of this, but Tyler Evans was scheduled for 8 a.m. and he showed up late. He showed up around 9:05,
Yes,
and it was Dick Cavett's turn. What can I tell you?
Barely a real sport.
Unless Tyler Evans was scheduled later and we had it wrong, but I don't think so.
Even if he was, look, we would have had him in. It would have been great to talk to the guy. But it's not like we're just sitting here, the three of us. It's Dick Cavett. We're not going to boot a guy who interviewed Hendrix and the Rolling Stones, a legend who's been on television. He wrote for fucking Jack Parr. What am I going to ask you? Hey, how did you pop the wheelie? How high did you go? Fucking beat it with that whore.
Yeah,
Pop
exactly.
the wheelie.
And by the way, Dick Cavett's going to be on my show, Morning Sedition, tomorrow.
Air America, go ahead, plug it. We have replays all day. We don't care.
I'm just sitting here fascinated that I said the word banging to Jim Norton. I don't think I've ever used the word banging.
So what happened with the Supercross guy? Could someone tell me? He just
Hawk?
left. Yeah,
What happened?
On the mic, quickly.
Look out! I think he's climbing the building on his bike. I think he wants to make a grand entrance.
No, right as we were coming back from commercial, he was already out the door, and the girl came in. She goes, "Thanks for everything," or something like that. And
No, it wasn't thanks for everything. We didn't do anything for them. It was thanks, goodbye. She was annoyed.
Yeah, she
That
was
was one of those thanks
They
that
don't
was
like,
supposed to go through us or
waiting.
something.
Yeah, he
They
was
taught
already
you
gone.
guys.
Yeah.
Right? What did you gain from doing
schooled.
It would have been a 10-minute interview. Hey, new movie out, looks kind of cool. We're at the X Games.
Is
Great.
that what they said?
Do you ride a bike on the highway? All right, thank you.
Wait, what
Thanks
did they
for
say,
coming by.
Nathaniel?
Had a flight to catch.
Had a flight to catch.
Why were they late? They could have been earlier.
They're on bikes.
They were scheduled for 8 a.m. That's all I know. Let's say hi to Theo in Virginia. Theo.
Hey.
Hey.
How y'all doing? Mark, I loved your book, and I wanted to see if you had another book maybe in the works.
That book took so much out of me. It's going to take. I am working on something. I've been offered an opportunity to write something. I think it's starting to look like a more of a family-oriented book, but in terms of me dealing with my family. But I appreciate you liking the book, and I am working on something else.
What was the first book about?
Jerusalem Syndrome, My Life as a Reluctant Messiah was a book based on a one-person show I did a few years back off-Broadway here. The basic premise of you know what Jerusalem Syndrome is? It's a temporary psychological condition. It happens to normal people when they go to Israel, not even religious people. They go to Israel and they just snap, and they think they're a biblical character like Moses or Jesus, or they think they're in direct communication with God. And the premise of the book was not only did that happen to me in Israel, but I think I've had it all my life because I think I'm that special. So the issue is, I go through my whole life in this kind of through this weird, mystical, self-indulgent, grandiose narrative of me on some sort of spiritual search. But it goes in and out of like brand loyalty as being a sort of faith and commitment, and it goes through this whole drug period with Kennison and Hollywood at the Comedy Store. That was the best part of the book, is I spent so much time creating this weird, dark chapter when I was 21 years old and doing my graduate work in cocaine use at the Comedy Store and hearing voices in my head. And it's interesting that when you coke yourself into a psychosis, when you're actually hearing voices in your head, it's never one. It's always many. And if you're like me, you spend a lot of time trying to get them to pick a fucking leader. If somebody's got something to say, step to the front of the head. So that was that book. It's available, I think, for a buck or two on Amazon, or you can get it used there. It's
you hung with Kennison?
I did hang with Kennison, sure. Yeah, I did. I was a doorman at the Comedy Store.
Is it haunted?
Of course.
Seriously. We ask that question to everyone that has played the Comedy Store.
Well, what I've always said is that, I believe that...
There's an old gangster club just to, help
I wrote this
here.
in the book. I believe it's actually built over one of the few existing gates to hell, and that, the evil emanates up through the floors of the place, and the comedians who are there, the good ones, are able to absorb it and make it funny. So is it haunted? No, I think it's much deeper than that. I think it's on some sort of axis, man. I mean, that place has such a vacuum of darkness and such a freedom of mind. It encourages a consciousness that is, man, it is certainly...
It's just a creepy place when you go in.
It's at the margins of funny. It's not only, but when you live there, I lived in the house that she used to rent out to comics. I lived in Dice's old room. That was a funny moment, is that I'm living up in Crest Hill in this little room, and you never knew who the hell was going to come up there, because the place, basically, it becomes a party house for all the comics, and a few of us lived up there. Schubert was living up there, and a couple other people, but,
you love Schubert. Why hasn't he been on our new show?
Is he around? I mean, he comes to Philly sometimes. But it was me, Schubert, and this guy named Todd Lemish, who eventually, I think he went on to have an aneurysm and moved to Florida and cook or something. But I remember one night, Dice came up, he burst into my room, and I'm sleeping. He's like, "Do you ever get a blowjob in the tub?" And I'm like, I don't know. Do I have to wake up now? But it was the whole environment of the place. She really let people run wild, and I do believe there is a dark energy, but when you're in it, when you live in it, you start to feed on it. And that was like really the darkest, most weirdest period of my life. Besides, I was fueled by drugs. I remember leaving because the drug dealer, this was the weird thing, the drug dealer came up to me. I had a falling out with Kennison. I was freaking out in the parking lot. And the guy who sold drugs, he was this dude, he was an Arab guy, and he had fought in both, he'd fought in the Israeli, the 6-Day War against the Israelis, and then he came here, and the rumor was that he went to Vietnam. He was just this mystical, weird, dark person. He looks at me and goes, "You got to get out of here, man." And when the drug dealer tells you to leave,
yeah,
it's time to go. But yes, I hung out with all those guys. I learned a lot about comedy. It was really an amazing place to hang out for about a year. But it got kind of weird, and it certainly is. I think it's beyond haunted. I think either you
did you see anything ever?
Like what? Ghosts?
I don't know. Noises, whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I did, but once you get involved with that place, I believe that I was one of the apparitions. That if you feel like you belong in that place, you start to be like, "Oh, I'm part of the store." So you actually become
you're on some good drugs.
Well, you become one of the creepy things. is that people come to the Comedy Store and go, that's that creepy guy. You know, he's the guy that works at the Comedy Store. You absorb the darkness, and you become part of it. So once you're part of it, you're not allowed to say it's haunted. If you say it's haunted, you really didn't become part of it.
All right.
How's that?
Very good. We got
excellent.
We got an update on Tyler Evans, the Supercross guy. According to Ben, Tyler is going to reschedule. He was out all night and fell asleep on the couch outside the studio.
Okay.
And he had to leave for a flight.
And he's on a bike.
Sorry. Exactly.
Say it twice.
How did you get that gig over there, Air America?
Well, honestly, what happened was I was out in L.A. You know, I just bought a little house out there with my wife, Mishna Wolf, who's a comic as well, and I was working on something for a TV show for Fox. That they'd given me a deal to develop a show for myself, and that had gone south. It wasn't going to happen, and I'd heard this thing was starting up, and you know, I had a complete, deep contempt and resentment for this president. And I saw this as an opportunity to be part of a momentum that would not, help dethrone him and elect somebody else. So I called up Janine Garofalo and I said, "Who's in charge of this?" And she put me in touch with Liz Winston. I said, "Look, I want a shot at this. I'd like to be part of this effort." It wasn't even to me. It was sort of like, can I help get rid of this guy?
That worked well.
Yeah, right. Didn't quite work, but I think that it's an interesting. To be part of it now because it's evolved and there's an audience. But that was originally what happened. And I got the gig. I wanted to do the morning show because I wanted to try and compete in the market, which, in retrospect, I'm not sure was the greatest idea. It's a hell of a time schedule.
Afternoons rule.
I bet I couldn't agree with you more knowing now that what radio is. But, I do find it incredibly engaging. The medium is completely new to me, and I had to learn how to do it, and I feel fairly confident in it now. And as you guys know, it's a thrill, man. When radio's going well and you're in it,
when you're in the zone, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, and you can't fake it really. Well, maybe you guys have been doing it longer. Can you fake it?
After a while, you're throwing it in.
Oh, yeah. There's things you do,
All right. No passion anymore, but you fake it.
All right, well, that hasn't happened quite yet, so that's how that came about.
Oh, it's pretty new, yeah.
Break out old bits and things. Yeah, we know how to stretch things out.
They tried the left radio for quite a while and just never really panned out. What's different about
Well, what I'm doing now, like our show is an interesting hybrid because once we set the ideology of the show up in the network, our show is doing all of the comedy, most of the comedy on the network. We've got characters that we use. We've got a lot of great guys who are writing bits and doing on-air stuff. We've infused a sort of wide spectrum of guests. Like we're having Cavett on. We do a lot of musical guests. We're having Michael McKean on this week. So my show, outside of the rest of the network, is ideologically, when we approach the news and when we talk about politics, it is going to be from a progressive viewpoint, and I'm fairly irreverent.
I like that. A progressive viewpoint.
Well, I'm an irreverent.
Bedwetting. It's going to be bedwetting.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I'm a sort of reactionary, sort of hyper conspiracy oriented person. But the more I read the news, but ideologically that's set. But the comedy, even in and of itself, and the guests we have on our show. It's pretty edgy. These guys are all good writers, and I'm willing to push it out to the edge. And we aren't afraid to offend some liberals because you can't please all of them. That's for sure. So
you have no qualms about goofing on Hillary or
No, we do it a lot. We used to do a thing called the Liberal Agenda every day, which was a fax that came from the Streisand compound with liberal marching orders that just completely
That's great.
And we've got a character on the show, this guy named Lawton Smalls, who represents Planet Bush, and he's this completely strange conservative guy that just toes a party line, and at the end of every phone call just breaks down crying with some weird musical story. Like he'll start singing musical comedies, and the comedy is what drives me, and also the idea that it is a voice that isn't represented, whether it works as well or as big as something that happens here or in a standard sort of non-political show, or even as well as right-wing shows, is that what was happening originally is you had people out there, like in South Carolina, people out in the middle of nowhere who were calling us saying, I can't talk too loud because I don't want anyone to know I'm listening to you guys, but thank God, I thought it was crazy. So there's a lot of people out there that are relieved that the point of view and the vocalization of how they're feeling is out there. So on that level, it is successful, and and numbers start to build when you start to have something like Cindy Sheehan out there, when people start to get sick of a war that seems to be going nowhere, and people start to rally around a different point of view.
What do you think of her?
I like her a lot. We've been talking to her every morning.
Have you?
Yeah. I think that she went out there. I think she was earnest. I think she wasn't going out there to politicize herself. I think she's been sort of carrying this grudge and this grief for a long time. And what's happening around her, I think for a lot of people, is incredibly relieving and fascinating. And I don't think there has been any sort of vocalization from the peace movement since 9/11 because people didn't know how to organize. And this woman has some real grief, and the people that are surrounding her also have some real grief, some real criticism.
I think that's given her some leeway. I think a lot of people that would normally just bash the shit out of her have looked, and you kind of feel bad for her because of what happened.
Because of her son being killed, I mean.
Yeah, whether you're for the war, against it, whatever, it's very hard to take a mother who's lost a son and bash her.
Exactly. Thank God.
So she's got that going for her, but she comes off as a little kooky.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I think she comes off as very open and very, there's a vulnerability to her. I mean, I don't know if it's kooky as much as it is sort of like, she's pretty wide open. I've noticed that in talking to her that, you almost feel like you're talking to a very fragile, vulnerable person. She sounds a little younger than she is. But I think what's interesting is what you were saying. It's galvanizing people that have gut reactions and real emotional problems with the war. And
I don't know if it's so much galvanizing people as just people are still looking at her, certain people, like just fucking asshole, but you're not vocalizing it as much as if it was, a celebrity, again, talking about the war. You could just jump on them and say, fuck you,
Well, what you're saying
support
is
the country, support the troop. It's very hard to then jump on this woman and bash her. But
I only got annoyed when she mentioned Israel and Palestine. I got a little irritated. Like,
that's
not the war here, so you lose a son. You can say whatever you want, man.
Right.
Who am I to fucking tell a mother not to grieve?
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Who am I to say how a mother should grieve? She wants to fucking stand outside bushes?
Yeah, but then doesn't the question really come down to, whether or not the question are the people who have died there, the 1,800 plus people who have died there, what are they dying for, and what is the real question there? And if people are disconcerted about the war, I think it is galvanizing because a lot of people in this country who are liberals, or even people that are conservatives that disagree, are afraid to talk. Because, there are people that are so well fortified with bullshit talking points that will jump down their throat and pummel them just because they're like, yeah, I won that one. It's got nothing to do with real feelings of patriotism or real concern about the country. There are people that just like to pummel liberals because they find it entertaining and because they can.
You got to say the liberals are also very, very anxious to pummel the conservatives. I mean, Bush makes a little verbal misstep, and the Times calls him a dummy, whereas John Kerry, there was one word he couldn't pronounce, they would call it a verbal tick. I mean, they pound back to him.
Yeah, but that's, I understand that, and I'm sure the pounding is mutual, but I think that the game is sort of tilted the other way, and the organization of the pounding and the tone of the media, I am not one who believes that there is a liberal media. I mean, I don't see it. I think there's an irresponsible media and there's a right-wing media, and I think that's it. I believe that to be true. So if there's a pounding going on from the liberals, good. Let them do it a little bit. Let them try and get their words through. It's just there is a wall of very organized propaganda that is ready to just devour anybody. And the fact that they can't devour Cindy Sheehan is why it's galvanized.
No liberal media, but you got to say, like, maybe not politically, but when you look at something like the way hate crimes are reported in the media, or the way that guy Nick in Bensonhurst is still in jail for what he did, and the way it was front page news. And then when 3 black guys attack a Jew, it's page 17. They were yelling, "Hey, Jew, get out, Jew!" And it was a brutal attack. That is definitely more of a liberal mentality than it is a conservative mentality, and that kind of permeates the media.
I don't know if it permeates the media in terms of, I know that a lot of people criticize the media and like CNN and for these people not showing both sides of the war. But I really believe that if they were to really show both sides of the war, it would be much worse than what they're showing. I mean, the media feeds on violence. It feeds on stories that are painful. It feeds on, a lot of things. But I don't necessarily, in a lot of ways, think that it is a political agenda. I think it is an agenda of selling newspapers or selling TV shows. That's what I perceive.
So how come the conservative media, like Fox, isn't given the same that same kind of asterisk? Like, they're doing the same thing. I mean, Fox is definitely a conservative slant, and most people don't mind admitting that. Like, yeah, definitely, yeah, it's more right-leaning. Yeah. And yet, when you mention CNN or you mention some other media outlets, people are like, well, I don't know. People are uncomfortable saying that it's. And Andy Rudy was even saying that Dan Rather was transparently liberal, and he wasn't trashing him. They're friends. Yeah. He was saying, yeah, the media's liberal. So what?
But you understand something though. In the 70s and in the mid 80s, all throughout most of what was the great time of comedy. All right, let's just use comedy as an example.
Late 80s.
Well, it wasn't the late 80s, really, though. I mean, the great time of comedy was, in the mid-70s and in the late 60s. And all of the comedy that came out at that time, George Carlin, Woody Allen, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, these were all conversations. There was a liberal cultural conversation. And that, is where somebody like Dan Rather started. Maybe he was biased, but I don't think he really was. And I'm saying that the tables have turned in the cultural dialogue, and there's no way to doubt that. I mean, even Ann Coulter, tipped that off into the right-wing media. And I don't think that the cultural dialogue is at all liberal anymore. And I think that if there is going to be a fight, it is on behalf of the liberals to try and be heard. And that there is no fair sort of balance here.
Back then, the liberals, to me, I was talking to some guy. He was one of Abby Hoffman's guys. He was actually the Comedy Cellar on site. His name was Stu something. I have a photo with him. Real, legend.
Photographer?
Don't know. I don't know. We talk. I mean, they say that people on the left know him. He's like a legendary left-wing guy. Real radical guy in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And even what I was talking about was that it's not necessarily liberal agenda that bothers people so much, or bothers me personally. Like, guys like what Pryor was talking about, which was anti-establishment, or Lenny Bruce, who was going anti-establishment. Lenny Bruce was completely against censorship. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it seems like the left has become so self-righteous and so willing to restrict freedoms and speech as far as content. That's the problem I have with them, is they become so knee-jerk reactionary and so willing to restrict what you can say.
Well, here's the issue.
What's correct and what's not
Based
correct.
on
And so willing
correctness.
to think for other people.
I hear that.
Where's that freedom that they were fighting for in the 60s? That's what differentiates them to me.
Well, you want to know where that broke down? And I've noticed this because I am a comic, and I'm certainly willing to be politically incorrect, and I certainly don't believe in censorship. But what happens with the liberals, outside of liberal intellectuals, is that the diversity of the liberal tent, the idea that progressives and liberals can all exist together is difficult because each one of them, there are all these different there's boutique causes is what I call them. And it's not the Democratic Party, it's the idea of liberalism, is that, liberal principles politically are health care, abortion rights, peace, environmental issues. But progressive issues can range anywhere from how come you're not talking about Darfur? How come you're not paying more attention to women's rights? What about the fish? Where do the cats fit into this? Right. Why do we need to, I think vegetables have feelings too. I mean that, you have a fairly broad spectrum of people that are trying to exist under one tent, and there's no way to do that. So out of that strange respect for each other, or trying to respect everybody's agenda, you get this strange censorship, which I think is completely detrimental to the cause. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, if you can't have a sense of humor about some things, you're really in trouble.
But is it born out of a respect for each other, or a paternalistic self-righteousness? Like, I find a lot of it. And again, I know you're a comic. It's like, but a lot of it is born out of, to me, a paternalism. Like, blacks are held to a different set of standards than whites are. And I use Comedy Central as an example because that's just my point of reference. But literally, the things they would come to say to us about what we couldn't make fun of. Like, Colin was doing a sketch one time where he was like, hitting me, and it was a domestic violence reference where he and I were married. The guy, no domestic violence jokes. No, you can't do that. Violence is okay to make fun of, but not domestic violence. You can make fun of the church. That's fine, but you can't say fag. It's like there was just such liberal ideology which permeated every note.
Yeah, but wait, now making fun of the church and making fun of domestic violence. Now,
violence and domestic violence. I'm saying break down violence.
You can make fun of violence, sure, but you can't make fun of domestic violence.
Absolutely. Right.
Okay, you can make fun of. You can't make fun of the church, but you can make fun of the church, but you can't say fag.
Meanwhile, I shouldn't even say fag. That's a language thing. But you can attack a certain priest, but you couldn't attack a certain ideology to the left too hard. I'm telling you, that's what they would come to say to us.
Well, is it an issue of balance, or is it an issue that you think that it's liberal? The thing is once you open the doors and start mocking people, you're going to hurt people's feelings. People are going to react, and unless the joke has some sort of intention other than hurting somebody's feelings, if it is elevating the dialogue a little bit about why political correctness is detrimental. Sorry, fellas.
Okay.
Then I don't know if they're wrong, but I don't know if that's liberalism, really. I think it's just about programming.
All the notes they gave us, though. I would agree with you if the notes were balanced. But the notes weren't balanced. They all came from one particular ideology. And I got into it with the lady from Practices and Standards about it. I'm like, on Chappelle's show they could say nigger, but on Tough Crowd they couldn't say nigger. Keith couldn't say it.
That absolutely shouldn't be.
Colin couldn't say it in a sketch where he was mocking these Hollywood assholes who try to assimilate into a thug culture. And
Wait, they wouldn't even let black people say it on the show?
Because of the tone of the show. And when Colin wanted to say it was unacceptable, yet when the news anchor said it on Chappelle's show, which was brilliantly funny, that particular sketch, he was allowed to say it. It was they very pick and choose, and they always seem to pick and choose on that one ideology.
I guess so. But I don't think it's. Sometimes I don't think it's like an instituted ideology. It sounds like the people that were at Comedy Central making certain programming decisions because they were uncomfortable about something. I don't think that there's some sort of manifesto. I think no. You know, and I don't think there is instituted the political correctness that is instituted. I do have problems with because I do think that it shuts some people out, and I do think that it mischaracterizes some elements of history, and I do think it is censoring because I have noticed myself, and the great thing about Lenny Bruce or about some of the stuff that you do or I would do is that a lot of people do not want to honor that political correctness. They're dying to be released from it. They're dying to be able to laugh at themselves and realize that they're taking things much too seriously. So in that sense, I don't know if it's an instituted paternalistic self-righteousness, but I do think there is some individual self-righteousness in liberals. I do think that there is a sort of like, you can never resolve the problems or know as much as I do. I think there's some of that on an individual level because I think those are control issues, but I don't notice it that much on an institutional level. And what you're saying is that it is a Comedy Central.
And again, I can only comment on what I've dealt with. You know what I mean? It's easy to just go, the media. I mean, that was an experience I had.
It was just a guy in charge, though.
We get that all the time. It's very weird.
But it seemed to come down
Think
to
about
all
who's
of
in charge over there.
But no, this
and
before,
his beliefs.
Even before Doug got there. Like, Doug Herzog's in charge now, and supposedly he's liberal. I don't really know him that well. But before Doug even, I mean, this is standards and practices.
It just seems like liberals were just running Comedy Central for a while there.
And they seem to run most.
And then their personal, feelings get involved. Which
Absolutely.
Which is the worst thing you could do in comedy, obviously.
Because Comedy Central especially is supposed to be, come on, it's Comedy Central. You're supposed to. And
take shots at everybody. But it's a weird thing, just that by virtue of the freedom that you want, by virtue of what you're protecting and your ability to do comedy, and there's certain elements of what you do that you got to admit is at the very least liberal, if not fucking out there. I mean, this is a very specific issue with you. It's about language and about political correctness. Right. But I mean, there are certain freedoms that you enjoy and certain things that you would fight for that can definitely be considered liberal.
Without a doubt. And believe me, when I say that, I people get annoyed when I put the asterisk, but I'm never toting the religious right. I mean, they're the greatest. As far as censorship, and no one is saying that. I mean, to me, they're more dangerous. Political correctness is an irritant. I mean, it's like a piece of sand in your eye. But to me, the religious right and what they've done to shut people down verbally is dangerous.
I think some political correctness is what kills the liberal movement in general. What kills the progressive movement in general is because there's this weird honoring of so many different points of view and different types of agendas that there's no way to ever get any momentum going as a group. I mean,
a lot of right wing and conservative are pretty much under the same banner.
Oh, they're all. It's amazing.
Yeah, they can mobilize.
It's easy when you're narrow minded. To all be on the same page.
I think that's why. I think that's why right-wing radio, has done much better than the left over the years.
Yeah, because for some reason, right-wing whining is more satisfying in terms of placating people's anger and making them get that weird anger hard.
See, now you would not.
See, like with liberals,
they would say the same thing.
They would say the same thing and go, "Who's whining? Where,
No, but it doesn't come off as whining. It just comes out as bile. When they do it, there's a when a liberal think about what you're complaining about. When a liberal is complaining about or speaking about their rights or being denied justice, there's no way. That's an individual saying, I want someone to help me. Whereas, most of the time the right is like, fuck that guy. Now, what's really more satisfying? I want someone to help me, or fuck that guy.
I like to fuck that guy.
Exactly. So that's why there's a difference. But it is still whining. It's just masked in a sort of contempt.
But here's where the left loses a lot of people with certain, again, old school guys are different. His mentor, Brother Weeze, the radio guy, who's an older liberal guy, fought in Nam. He's sitting in a... Yeah,
wow.
But he's one of
those guys,
old school guys, and we were
Vietnam.
I swear to God.
Another Nam.
No,
I swear to God.
Nam the club. Yeah. You never heard it?
Who's having fun?
If you ask Brother Weeze, one of the reasons he re-upped was because he was having a really good time over there.
There are a lot of those guys. You ever see, Duvall and Apocalypse, beach
looked
party?
like a blast.
Certainly did. But we were talking about, he's very anti-government. He's anti-war, anti-Bush.
Right.
Hates him. And then I'm like, well, how do you feel about, like when it comes to racial profiling Middle Eastern guys? And he's like, well, you can't win them all. Like, you're basically going, Jesus, there definitely is a point to that. Like, not so married to the party line, which is what's frustrating sometimes on the left when you say, all right, well, how about profiling guys? I mean, not
a lot of guys that you speak to from the left and the right too. They can't take anything out of the party line. Right. And sometimes you want to smack and go, look, I know you well enough to know you don't believe that. You believe this way, but you're not saying it because it goes against the party line.
Well, that's interesting.
There's no give and take.
Right, well, that's the interesting thing about conservatives as well, is that you get these guys that may not know what they really feel, but they get a certain amount of talking points in place, and they know they can win an argument. Mm-hmm. But most of the people we talk to on our show, like, we have discussions about that, like after the bomb in England, those bombs in England went off, and the movement to start searching people here and to profile. We have discussions about that. There are plenty of liberals that are that are scared and want solutions and want to feel safe in this country. The real question around that stuff is, does it work? Does it make it safe? How long does it go on for? Do you really trust them to be responsible around taking care of this problem? Was it just a publicity thing? We have conversations about this, and I know very few liberals and very few people who we have talked to on the phones, or even my partner, where there isn't a discussion to be had.
We got people calling, like a lot of people, again, a knee-jerk reaction, profiling bad, and in a utopian society, it is bad. You'd rather not have it. But the question is, do you honestly, or anybody, honestly feel as great a threat of being murdered in public or blown up by, say, 3 middle-aged women? You go racially, 1 black, 1 white, 1 Asian, or 3 Middle Eastern men. Who do you feel more of a threat from?
I'll be the first to tell you. I mean, look, I live in Queens. I have a few Pakistani guys living across the hall from me. I'm nice. I reach out. And I don't generally suspect them of anything. I say things. I try to be friendly, like, hey, that music's interesting. What's that smell? Is that food? But
the worst food that they cook up.
But I love Indian food. I mean, that's a weird thing about me. Is
like up the hallways, though.
Oh, come on, you gotta love it. I once said to a cab driver, this is the saddest thing about me, is I had an Indian cab driver say, I want to go to India, and he goes, why? And the only thing I could come up with is, like, you got that good bread. All right, but anyways, well, what I'm saying is that I am a victim of that fear. I know where that fear comes from, and the fear of judgment. But do the numbers line up? Does profiling really work, or are there bigger issues? Are there port security issues? Are there airport security issues? Are there other issues on a policing level, on an intelligence level, that need to be put into place before you start just, throwing guys who are Arab against the wall and searching them on the train?
But
yes.
I agree with you. All should be, like, the stuff you just said is completely correct. All the ports, all that stuff has to be done better. But I don't believe, again, throwing people against the wall, no, nobody wants to see that. No one wants to see it done without any kind of respect or dignity. I mean, you don't want it to be done where innocent citizens are being subjected to humiliating experiences. I think there's a way to do it.
It's not, but like you said, it's not old ladies, and it's not a Middle Eastern guy that's, has nothing more than his wallet on him and a light breezy coat. I mean, if you see someone that fits the bill, we know what the bill is here. That's another thing where I'm saying, stop. Let's not get these party lines and party ideology in the way of common fucking sense.
Oh, but what do you do, Anthony? All right, if you see somebody,
what do? You search him.
But who? Who? But, like, I was on the train the other day. This happened twice. This happened twice to me. Twice to me. And it might have happened to you. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm on the train in Queens. I'm sitting there, right? Across from a guy. He's praying out loud. He's a Muslim. He's working his prayer beads. He's got a bag. So now I'm sitting there. I'm fucked. I'm going to blow up. All right. Now, the odds of that happening are really small. Right. They really are. Okay. They just are. Even in the Muslim world, they're small. All right. Granted that some of the people that have done these things are Muslim. All right. So I'm sitting there.
Some.
Yes, some.
Majority.
Well, there's the 3 terrorist acts that have happened in this country. One was an American, 2 were Muslim. Yes, I get it.
Well, let's go. You're correct.
But Bosnian.
Let's go with numbers, though.
Yeah.
Let's pile a body count up. And
no.
It was 4 acts of terrorism that day, or now it's just 1.
No, I get it. Okay. No, I was talking about I was lumping all of 9/11 together, the 95 and then the Oklahoma.
And let's go with the year streak that they're on. Yeah. I don't think...
what I'm saying is I'm scared, but the truth of the matter is as scared as I was, when you have people... If I can just say, look, we need to stop the train. If you're going to trust me, it's like when they pulled those guys off of that bus down by Times Square because someone at Gray Line says, I got a bad feeling. You can't fucking have that. You can't have you being able to say, just because you're downstairs in the lobby, you can't call the cops and go, hey, I just got a bad feeling about this guy, and have them come and rip someone's car up or throw them down. How the hell are you going to structure this?
You're right, but on 9/11 they did have two of those guys stopped at security for reason there was something about two of those guys that they were uncomfortable with, and they did have them stopped at security, and they let them through. And when Richard Reed was boarding American Airlines in, I think it was a Paris flight where he tried to shoe bomb. I mean, again, that's not America, but the agent said there was something about him. I was uncomfortable. He bought the one-way ticket. But again, there's this feeling that I can't embarrass somebody.
But who do you trust? I mean, it's like that bit I used to do about being searched at the airport. And this is the truth of the matter is that the reason we let them search us is that it's the democratic thing to do. We allow them to search us so the people they are racially profiling don't get uncomfortable. Right? Now,
absolutely.
All right. So given that, and that's the reality with any search situation. But my fear is that by and large, racial profiling is not that effective. It isn't.
How could it not be effective when you're profiling the very people that are doing
because
these
most
things?
People don't do it. And what happens is you get people that are living in fear. You get people, it engages in a type of contempt and suspicion that may not necessarily be true. In most cases, if you're going to profile someone, 99% of the time, it ain't the guy. So if you're going to do it 100% of the time and create a world full of fear, distrust, and deny people civil liberties for 99% of the time being wrong, to change a culture like that and live like that, it's not a democracy, it's not freedom.
But it doesn't have to go from searching guys that fit the bill to internment camps.
Right.
It's not.
I'm not talking about internment camps. I'm talking
a lot of
cases.
people kind of do that slippery slope thing.
But who are you going to trust? Who are you going to trust to make these decisions? What is uncomfortable mean?
I trust the cop.
I trust the people that are put in place.
If he sees somebody that he thinks might be a problem, and again, as long as he's respectful, I trust his instinct more than I trust stupid Bloomberg going, we're not going to look at anybody any differently, and having a 70-year-old woman searched while two Middle Eastern guys will walk on to the train.
The whole idea of that is they don't have the money. First of all, it's going to cost $2 million a day in overtime just to get those guys to actually search people, even if they search just Arabs. All right. So the other thing is it was a publicity campaign just to make people nervous, to make people feel safer. And the people that want to do this, if they are out there or whether they're going to be on the trains, you think they give a fuck? You think they're not going to figure out another way to do it?
Does the left and the ACLU and everyone else have any options? Any other idea where they're constantly criticizing anything anyone in power wants to do to try to protect the transportation system, the American people, but I never once hear a solution, something that might make us safer.
Well, I tell you, I mean, we've been talking about video cameras. There's some people that aren't uncomfortable with video cameras. They seem to be effective in some ways.
ACLU's against them.
Yeah, I know. Well, the ACLU, the reason that the ACLU, makes a stand and should make a stand and always should make the stand that they have is to provide debate around issues that could cause a slippery slope towards denying people civil liberties for many years to come in taken out of context. If laws are changed and the Constitution is changed, who the hell's to say it's Arabs today, but tomorrow it's chronic masturbators? Who the hell's to say that?
If chronic masturbators are a threat to...
but who decides that?
Who decides it? You know what? I think it's really decided by the public.
No, it's not.
I think being blown up in a train is dangerous.
That's right.
And I think everyone would agree with me.
There's a lot of people that think gay marriage is dangerous, that masturbating is dangerous.
Yeah, but there's enough people to balance it out. You're not going to find people that go, I think blowing up trains is great.
That's true. You're not
going to find anybody.
You're not.
This country is based on the balances.
But if you change laws...
And the gay marriage thing, there are plenty of people against it. But there's plenty of people for it that keep it balanced where you're not really going to...
But I think everybody, including the civil libertarians, want this society to be safe. They want police.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think. I think that's wrong.
They're willing to sacrifice that just to make a self-righteous stand on a principle, even if they know.
It's a constitutional principle. It's a constitutional principle. It's not a self-righteous principle. What they're trying to do is protect the future of democracy on a constitutional level.
The guy said, one of the senators said after 9/11, the Constitution is not a suicide pact. We've never in this country, to my knowledge, had, at least with technology the way it is, a group infiltrating and behaving as citizens and working among us as citizens for the sole purpose of murdering us. Whereas Japanese internment camps, terrible because these citizens have done nothing wrong.
Right.
This is a situation where they're using this to assimilate into society to get people comfortable, where they can comfortably move about and then commit a murder like on the 3,000 person scale.
Wait, but I believe, as I said before, that the ACLU and Civil Liberties Union are fighting for constitutional ideas in order to protect us in the future. Now, I think that most of the legislation that's going to go on around this, not unlike England, that if some of this stuff is done on a law enforcement level and these things are done and people are doing their jobs investigating and making intelligence communities communicate, if the FBI and the CIA are communicating with the ML5 and these things start to work in a way that isn't competitive, that we might have a shot at this as people in the world that live in fear. If intelligence communities and law enforcement communities communicate with each other and created technology that would make their job be more effective, that isn't completely intrusive, I think there is a middle way.
But Mark, I agree with you, but what is that technology when the ACLU fights cameras being in the street? When you have, technology that makes it easy. Cameras in the street. That's infringing on civil liberties.
I don't think anyone's fighting cameras in the train.
The civil libertarians would fight. They complained about cameras possibly being from the cockpit into the plane. They said that was an invasion of privacy, where pilots could look on a monitor and see what was going on in the back of the plane.
But like Anthony said, the people will rule on this, and the people will find a medium way. If you don't have this kind of active debate, the reason the ACLU exists is to try to protect the Constitution of the United States and try to protect the civil rights of individual citizens. And like I said, administrations change. The tone of culture changes. You can't put you can't change these documents that are meant to protect our way of life, just to honor what's going on now.
No,
because who the hell knows?
Apparently they can with the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
That's something. Hey, back then, I love when they bring that up. Back then, they needed the militia. You needed your weapons for food and things like that. But times now, if the forefathers knew what times would be like now and the weapons we'd have now, they never would have this, blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes down to the situation that we're in with terrorism and the rights of people and searches and stuff, then it's, hey, it's written in stone back in the old days. It's not based on what's happening now. It's just hypocrisy. Really
on behalf of the ACLU.
In this particular case,
ACLU and the left.
Well, I don't think you can lump all the left together. There are plenty of people that are, consider themselves progressives, that consider themselves liberals, that own guns, that believe in safety, that believe in a lot of things that are constitutional, that is one of the issues within the left that is not set in stone. And I think characterizing the left, it's a lot easier to characterize the right and the religious right as having specific ideals. But the interesting thing about the left is that you've got plenty of people that are progressive, yet believe in some of the same things that you're talking about.
We got 2 minutes left. The computer cut us off. That's the.
I'm good. I feel all right. You?
Mark is battling. I love this. Just hanging in there. Will the left and right ever get along?
Yeah. Yeah, we do meet on certain areas.
Yeah.
Al Goldstein was once considered the left.
Yeah. We pull trains together. If a guy's banging a girl and she wants to blow me, I don't care who he voted for. I'll high five her over her half passed out back.
Well, this was definitely a very interesting show today.
So you guys are on when, man? You're on 6 to 10 every day?
6 to 9 in the morning every day. We're on XM, and we're also on
XM 167.
We're on 1190 AM here in Manhattan.
Yes.
Thanks, you guys. I had a great time.
That was great, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And tomorrow, Dick Cavett will be on
my show.
Yeah. Who's on the show with you? Just you?
Me, myself, and Mark Riley is my co-host, and we're going to have Michael McKean is going to be on. Bob Balaban is going to come on. We're going to talk to Cindy Sheehan as well, as we are every day that she's out.